Hey, 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 everybody.
Hi.
We are back, whether you like it or not. Here we are.
With round 2 of Terri's Death Train.
Yes, round 2. I am ready to hear the end of this, but I have a feeling I'm not going to be satisfied. So,
Yeah. I mean, we talked about it in the last episode, but
yeah.
it's one of
Okay.
those episodes. But so, anyway, that's where we're at. This is the second part of my 2-parter episode on cults. And so if you're listening to this episode first, you're going to need to stop right here.
Yes, right here.
And go back to the previous episode and listen to that one first, because all the goods are in that episode that you're going to need to know for the continuation of this episode. Okay?
Yes. Okay. Check, and check. Okay.
Check, and check.
All right. Anybody else left over? I think so.
I'm sure there's people who are being rebels right now, but they're going to regret it.
Yeah. Take a pause here. Think about your life choices and go back to part 1. Okay, just do it.
Just fucking do it. There we go. There we have our picture of Terri, and she's glaring at me as I speak mean words about her.
Yes, Kyle's got a good old background of Terri giving us the side eye. The creepy side eye. She definitely has a glare for sure.
It is creepy. It is so creepy. Ugh.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, before we get into that, we have some business.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit first about our social media, because why not?
Yes.
So if you haven't done so already, we would love it if you went and followed us on Instagram and Twitter. It's Tales with Twins for both of those handles. Tales with Twins. That is Tales with Twins. Oh, yeah. And in case you didn't know which podcast you're listening to Tales with Twins. Okay.
Hey, what's it called again?
It's Tales with Twins.
Oh,
damn it.
Right. With Jillian and Paige and our lovely brother, Kyle.
Yes, I'm Jillian. That's Paige. You just heard Kyle. Yeah.
Yes.
It's good stuff.
Welcome back.
Go ahead and, welcome back. Go ahead and do that for us. We would love you so much. And then we also have some fun news. And if you want us to love you like just that much more, listen to what Paige has to say right now.
So we officially pulled the trigger on Patreon. So we're going to be we plugged all of the information on Patreon on all the previous episodes. Super embarrassing. However, we officially made it happen. We were kind of unsure, like, is this something we should do? Like, I don't know. It sounds like a lot of work. But then at the same time, in case you haven't noticed, we've upgraded our sound shit. We are no longer on Zoom with that stupid robotic noise. Super, super annoying. Thank you for hanging on all this time if you're still here after all that bullshit. But we now have our very own recording little system through a paid service. Yep. So yes, this paid service does cost money. And we need your money.
We do. We absolutely do. We've said it before. We have goals for this podcast, and we would love for you to help us achieve those goals. Yes. So we understand not everybody can donate, but if you feel so inclined and feel like you have the ability to do so, we would love it. We would really love it. Like I said, we have a paid software that we're using for our recordings because, again, Paige and I are across the country from each other. So we can't record in the same room. Unfortunately, it's also COVID-19 times, and we wouldn't probably do that anyway because we are smart. But either way, we have to do like a paid thing where we can record from a long distance away, and that costs money. So we would just love it if you love our podcast, want us to keep doing this. We need some help trying to pay for some of this stuff. So go for it. We would love you forever and ever and ever. And there's perks involved. Yes. Paige, do you want to tell them about the perks?
Yes. Thank you, Jillian, for putting it a lot nicer than I did. I'm like, we need your money. And you're like, well, we do. But Why? Jillian's always the one that's much more articulate than I am.
I try. I like to think it's past experience coming full circle for me, but that's okay.
Right. But yes, we have 3 tiers for donation membership type levels. And they're pretty low because we are new at this and we're just trying to get, little bits that we can. So we kept the tiers pretty low so that people would feel more comfortable with donating monthly. So our first tier is actually just a $2 tier. Nothing fancy, but you do get just a shout out on Facebook for that. We couldn't do much more than that. Unfortunately, our reward system for this are pretty slim at this point because, as we just mentioned, we just don't have a lot of money to be doing a bunch of extra things at this point. But the more support that we get from you guys, the more we can do all the fun things that we would like to do for our Patreon members. But as I said, that $2 level is just a shout out on Facebook when you sign up, which is super fun. When we get, all these group members in our Facebook group, which we have some already, then we'll be able to be putting people's names on there, just first name only. Don't worry. We're not going to be giving out your full last name.
And if for some reason you don't want your name published on Facebook, let us know and we won't do it. I think you can do you can send a message when you give donations. So just say hey, this is from Anonymous or whatever.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So then our next tier is the $5 tier, and you still get that Facebook shout out. Basically, everyone who signs up for Patreon gets the Facebook shout out when they sign up. So, but for those $5 donators, you guys get the goods because every month for our $5 donators and above, so if you donate above $5, you're going to get this. Don't worry, but $5 every single month, you are getting an episode from
me.
Ooh, that sounded saucy. And I think our Patreon people are going to be thrilled about that.
Yes.
That's right. If you want to hear Kyle's sultry voice tell you a story, a very grim story, go ahead and jump on Patreon. We'll make it worth your while. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. Yep. We kind of figured you guys hear us every week, so why not hear from Kyle every month? And his voice is just silky enough that you have to fucking pay for it.
Like a good high-class dancer.
There you
I'll take that.
We're pretty excited about it. I think he's pretty excited about it.
Yeah.
We just set his, Paige and I have discussed his topic because it's going to be the same thing. We're going to give him a topic and then that gives you something to kind of look forward to. And hopefully it might bait others who haven't gone on Patreon and who are interested. That might get them to jump on and donate and get access to this bonus material. So do we want to go ahead and say what the topic is for this month?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So Kyle's topic that he's going to have to research and find a story that he's going to tell us. And it's going to be about a cabin. That's right. A cabin of his choice. We have no idea what it's going to be. It could be anything, but
paranormal.
Yeah, I've already started. I already started looking.
Oh, I'm excited. So it's going to be good.
If you want to hear Kyle present a story each month, then you definitely want to be in on the $5 tier of our Patreon. The next tier that we have is actually our $10 tier. And you guys, this is the tier, unfortunately, those two things are the only two things that we can give right now, just financially and time-wise, because we're all still working. We all still have to work to do what we do to make an income, but we want this to be our income. So unfortunately, we don't have the time or the funds to be able to do another reward for this last tier. So you are just kind of the go-getters of our crew, and it's going to be you guys driving the train when we start getting big. We're going to be able to do more things for you at that time. But for now, just know that we love you more than anything.
Yes.
And we're calling that tier the possession tier because you're possessed by us and we're possessed by you.
Yeah. That's good.
So we appreciate your $10 donations more than absolutely anything. And know that when the time comes, you guys at our $10 donator tier are going to be really getting the fucking goods.
Yes, for real. It's pretty exciting that we've even like pulled the trigger on this, I have to admit, but it's going to be even more exciting when we actually have a little bit more time and money to donate to this, because
we want to do like merch for you guys and all these things, but we need money to do that.
Money and time, and right now they're both in short supply. So if we could get one, that would be great, and then the other will follow, hopefully.
Yes. Yep. Yes. So please consider donating to our Patreon. You can find the link to our Patreon on our social media pages. As of right now, I'm thinking once a couple days pass by, hopefully we'll be able to find just by typing our name in on the search bar of Patreon. But so far, I'm not having luck with that. We literally just launched it today, so things are taking a little bit more time.
Yeah. And by today, we mean at the time of this recording, not of like launching this recording.
I was launching the Patreon.
Yes. Yeah. So it's up by the time you're hearing this. We're still working at the kinks at the time of recording this. It's a little bit of a dance, but we're getting it.
Yes.
All right. So let's go ahead and just like plug the social media again real quick, because that's where you should be able to find our Patreon. Fingers crossed, but that's where you should be able to find it. So again, Instagram is @TalesWithTwins, Twitter @TalesWithTwins. We have a Facebook group as well. Right now, it's not a Facebook page. This is a Facebook group, but you know, that's what we've got right now, and that's what we're comfortable with. So we'll keep that for now. We'll probably be plugging it a little bit on Facebook as well. But I think the easiest places to find it are probably going to be Instagram and Twitter, or just going onto the Patreon site and searching for us there. That should, I think, do it also. I'm kind of new to Patreon, I have to admit. I'm an avid podcast listener, and I need to be better about doing Patreon donations because I listen to so many. But since I haven't done very many donations through Patreon, I'm not totally sure how it works. So this will be a learning opportunity for me.
Yeah, we're a little in over our head.
Yeah.
And just so if anyone's curious, Patreon is a monthly service. So you donate basically $2, $5, $10 every month, and it just automatically comes out. You have to do no work, and then you get all those bonus things automatically. It's pretty easy to do. However, we understand that the monthly donating thing isn't for everyone. So we are also working on setting up a PayPal account just for people who want to do one-time donations or something of that nature. So if you're feeling like you just can't dedicate every month, to donating to us, that is totally fine. We totally get it. But please consider donating to our PayPal, but we do not have that info just yet. We're working on it, as we speak.
Yeah, one step at a time. We just finished Patreon, and next is PayPal. But I'm sure by the time you're hearing this, we will have figured it out, like I said earlier. But give us a little bit of grace on that, I suppose, because we're new at this, and we really don't have like any clue what we're doing. So we're just kind of going based on what we've heard, I suppose, or what we're guessing we need to do. So it's a little bit of a chess game at this point, trying to figure out like what needs to go first, if it's too early to do stuff yet. And we're still just trying to kind of piece it together. So we really do appreciate your patience and your support. It's just like we are so excited to finally be able to do this podcast. It's just one of those things that I've wanted to do for a long time, and it just hasn't been feasible. And now it's happening, and we want it to be successful. And with your help, I think we could make it successful. Excuse me. I've just finished a double gin sour, so I'm starting to stutter, apparently.
Feeling it.
You're speaking in cursive now?
I think I am.
Yes.
I think I am. Oh my God. Wow. Okay. Well, let's see. Is there anything else before we get back into Terri's Death Train Part 2?
I don't think so.
Oh my God. Okay. All right. I'm ready to be totally bummed out. Tell me all about it.
Okay. Well, let's kind of go through, let's do like a quick recap, okay?
Okay. That's a good idea. Yes. Refresh my memory.
Yes. First of all, our trigger warnings, okay? We've got suicide, chit chat in this podcast, okay? Same with the last episode. All the same warnings apply. You know, this is all alleged. I said it in the last episode, so I'll say it again just so that we don't get sued. No charges have been brought against this woman. So everything that we are saying is everything we say about her personally, you know, the little jabs, those are all alleged, you know? Yeah. So technically speaking, she is an innocent woman, all right? So no one come after me. But I'm going to say a lot of nasty shit about her because I just don't like her.
Well, and she sounds like a shady person. If nothing else, she sounds shady.
Yeah, things were happening around her that were fucking weird. That's okay. It is what it is. Okay. All right. So let's just recap real quick here. Terri Hoffman is the woman that we're talking about. Generally, we're talking about lots of other people in this too, but all these situations kind of center around Terri Hoffman and her quote unquote cult. I'm sure she would not call it a quote. She would probably call it just a religion, but it's a fucking cult if we're being honest. And the cult is called Conscious Development of Body, Mind, and Soul. Okay. And this was really popular back in the 70s and 80s. That kind of stuff. Mostly the things that they taught weren't, well, some of the things that they taught weren't like super wild. Like there was a lot of like reincarnation talk and things like that, which is, you know, not that strange. A lot of people believe in that. It's pretty, you know, whatever. The other thing I wanted to point out is this is not a cult that's like drink the Kool-Aid, mass suicide kind of stuff. This is very calculated, convincing people one by one kind of stuff. Then they commit suicide, that kind of thing. So this isn't like massive tragic death situation like Jonestown. This is just, you know,
a slow burn.
Yeah, slow burn. There you go. That's a good way to put it. Let's see. So, but basically where we're getting at with Terri Hoffman is the things that she taught weren't that crazy, except for things like bloodletting and multiple realms. And she would travel to multiple realms and then like lead these battles and stuff like that and then come back. And then there was a lot of manipulation of relationships. She would convince people to break up, saying that people in other realms were saying they were not meant to be together. That kind of thing. Okay, so there was a lot of, you know, there was a lot of odd things about this religion that Terri had created, but the strangest part were the deaths that seemed to surround Terri and her cult. And on top of it, not only the deaths, but then the like inheritance that she would get from their wills. So basically we have the people so far that have died are her ex-husband, Glenn Cooley, who committed suicide through like a drug overdose, like a medication, not like heroin or anything like that. It was
a prescription.
Yeah, prescriptions. And it was a blend, as far as I'm aware. It was a blend of prescriptions that Glenn had taken. There was a witness that claims that Terri knew that he had taken these drugs and that she was with him when he died, but that Glenn did take the drugs of his own free will. And then he, of course, leaves a will after they're divorced. I should preface that Terri and Glenn become divorced, and then like a week later, he kills himself by suicide and still leaves everything to Terri. All his money, all his belongings, everything go to her, even though they're divorced and he doesn't really want anything to do with her. Somehow he leaves this will with her benefiting from everything.
Okay. And that's kind of a running theme.
That is a running theme in what we're going to be talking about. The other person that we talked about last week was Devereaux Cleaver. Poor Devereaux was only 14 years old when she died of a mysterious drowning while on vacation with her mother, Sandy. Sandy was a very, very, very devoted co-worker to Terri in the cult. Like, she was the secretary treasurer, and it was an unpaid position, but she devoted her life to this religion and to Terri herself. And she had a daughter who was named Devereaux, who actually really did not like Terri, thought she was weird, wasn't really into her. But as Devereaux gets older, Sandy starts to believe that Terri is possessed by Terri and Sandy, I should say, believe that Devereaux is possessed by these spirits that they call dark lords. And that's another thing that's a theme in Terri's religion, is there's dark lords and energies that can infiltrate your body and your soul, and it basically possesses you, and you become a possessed dark lord.
Oh my God. It's just like, it's weird. It's all weird.
I know. Yeah. So Terri convinces Sandy that Sandy's daughter Devereaux is possessed by these dark lords and there's nothing they can do. She, it is what it is. So them believing in reincarnation, which again, this is alleged, we don't know. Devereaux's death was officially listed as an accidental drowning. However, it is super suspicious, and in my own head, Terri probably told her, well, she's going to be reborn anyway, so why not just kill her and then she can be reincarnated and it'll be fine, right? Hopefully that's not what happened. Hopefully that's not what happened, but that is believed by many people.
Yeah. Including myself.
Yes. And even Devereaux's father. Devereaux's father really truly believes that Sandy killed their daughter.
Okay.
So
that's so sad. It's
I know.
Awful.
And of course, I forgot, Devereaux at age 14 also left a will to Terri. So even though
I forgot about this.
Yeah, even though she really didn't like Terri and she didn't like the religion, she wasn't in the cult or anything. Somehow, Terri finds this note that's basically a will, and it says, oh yeah, I'm 14 years old, but I have a trust fund, and I want it all to go to Terri. However, praise the Lord, since she's only 14, the law basically was like, no, a 14-year-old can't leave a will. Like, her trust fund is going to her family, not to Terri.
Well, and what kind of 14-year-old leaves a will anyway? We talked about it last week, but it's just like the fact that she even had a will should have been I feel like investigators should have been like, wait, what? A 14-year-old with a will? That's bizarre.
Right. Yeah, and it was stated that Sandy, the mom, did convince Devereaux to write the will. I don't know, like, and it wasn't like an official legal documented will. It was like she found it in her, or like that some of the cult members ended up finding it somewhere.
But what kind of, well, that's another weird thing though. Like, what kind of mother would be like, hey, sweet daughter of mine, you need to write a will because you're 14 and it's time. Right. Like, like, it just, that doesn't make any sense.
Kill her.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, it's further fuel to the suspicion fire.
Yes. Okay. And that's kind of where we left it, was Terri is obviously, quote unquote, devastated that her daughter has drowned.
You mean Sandy?
Oh, yes.
You said Terri.
Sorry. Thank you. Yes. Sandy is obviously devastated that her daughter has drowned. I should also point out that Sandy's fiance, which he is unnamed, but he was also there at the drowning, and he was also a member of this cult. Okay? So Sandy is engaged to this unknown dude that is a member of the conscious development group. And that's kind of where we're at. And she's sad. And that's where our story picks up. Okay. All right.
I'm ready and not ready at the same time.
I know. Recap over. We are getting into the goods here.
I'm just like nervous about where this is going to go because I know it's not going to be great, but it's all right. We'll get there.
Yeah, I mean, it continues to escalate and get wild and wild and wild. But I will say that I do believe the saddest incident is a child dying, which we've already covered. Poor Deborah was only 14. Like, that's fucking awful.
Yeah.
The rest of these people that we're going to talk about were adults, which it sucks. It's still horribly awful. But there's something just different when it's a child,
Yeah.
So
yeah, I agree. I agree.
You can have yourself brainwashed and that's your own fucking fault. But when your daughter isn't even brainwashed and she still dies because y'all are psycho, then that's real sad.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a good summary. Like, it's just, well, and it, like, part of me is like, it was her mom's job to protect her.
Yeah.
And again, like, this is listed as an accidental death.
Yeah.
And who knows, like, maybe it was, but the fact that a mother, like, take all of that out of it. The fact that a mother was like, hey, I'm going to have my 14-year-old write a will is just like, I don't know. I feel like that in itself is just
fucking weird.
Yeah, it's fucking weird. And I like, as much as this is kind of a really intense assumption, but it almost seems like borderline mental abuse where you're having, because she had to have this conversation with her daughter of like, hey, I know you're 14 years old, but you could die tomorrow, and where would your money go? It would go nowhere. And so you need to make sure it goes somewhere. And it's like, she's fucking 14 years old.
Well, and she probably spun it because I know like in the 70s and 80s it was really common to buy life insurance before you traveled.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that. And you could even like buy it at like a vending machine.
Yeah, they had it in like vending machines and stuff.
Yeah.
So I could see that being the situation where she's like, well, anytime you travel, you just have to be prepared for the fact that you could die. Like the plane could crash and you could die, and you have to make sure that all your things are going to someone that you want them to go to.
It's just like, but she's 14.
I know. Obviously that's not a thing for children, but that's probably what she was saying to her.
God, that's awful. It's just like really, it's, regardless of if her mom actually drowned her, I feel like that's irresponsible as a parent.
Yeah, basically.
But I mean, that's just me.
You're going to die while you're on your trip.
Yeah, it's like, I'm not a parent, so I mean, I honestly probably shouldn't even be saying that, but it's just like, I just feel like that is a lot of darkness that you are bestowing on a child.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So are y'all ready for the conclusion of this death train?
No, but yes.
All right. So we leave off with Sandy. Poor Sandy Cleaver is mourning the death of her daughter, Deborah, right?
Is she though? No, I'm sure she is.
I'm sure she is, even if she killed her. Like,
yeah.
It was...
Yeah, because I mean, like, even if she does believe that, like, because their whole thing was, reincarnation. So, like, even if she does actually believe, that her daughter is going to be reincarnated, she's still without her daughter.
Right.
Like, her daughter is still gone. And she you don't know where she's going to be reincarnated or when she's going to be reincarnated. I don't.
Or if you're ever going to see her again, Yeah.
That
thing. Yeah, totally.
Her daughter, as she knows it, is still gone.
Yes, so I'm sure she was very sad. And it reflects in her behavior. She ends up kind of going downhill after the death of her daughter. Obviously.
I mean, I kind of don't blame her.
Yeah. She becomes really isolated. She actually calls off her wedding. So she was engaged to the guy who went with them to Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
And she calls off the wedding and just kind of, removes herself from kind of everything except for the conscious development group.
So
Again,
she almost like goes deeper.
yes. But she removes herself from other things in her life. Like she kind of cut off a lot of her ties with her family and things like that. Though it does
Which is
say
scary because that, I mean, what if those things were the only things that were, you know, keeping her, I mean, I say this term loosely, you know, sane. That's assuming that she, you know, didn't allegedly kill her daughter.
right.
But it's like, you know, you remove yourself from all of your, you know, outside influences and you just have that one thing
Yeah, you come up.
that is, I mean, I'm going to call it what it is, a cult. Like, that's not good.
Right. Yeah, like you just kind of I mean it's a toxic behavior. But I mean we all do it.
Yes.
Like when we get depressed, we kind of like put ourselves deeper into something that we're doing, whether it's healthy or not. I mean, obviously bringing yourself deeper into a cult is not a healthy thing to do, but it's a normal thing that people do when they're like having depression and like things like that. But that is something that's a common theme with these people who were associated with this conscious development group. There was a lot of depression, you know, and a lot of people who were vulnerable, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
that doesn't surprise me. I mean, and that's, it's kind of like cults go after vulnerable people.
right.
And I mean, there's a myth out there that's like, you know, the only people that are in cults are stupid. It's like, that's not true. I think that the majority of cult members are actually very intelligent, but they're, you know, they're lacking something in their life that draws them to this, you know?
Yeah, and this one is pretty normal. It's like, yeah, let's talk about how death is an okay thing and we shouldn't be afraid of it and all these things. So when it comes down to it, at the surface, it doesn't sound so bad, you know, like it sounds like something that's like a decent religion that a lot of people believe in, but
yeah. And reincarnation is something that, like, I'm sure millions of people believe in today.
Yeah, totally. It's not that wild of an idea, but some of the practices that they did were a little bit more radical, though.
Yes.
Still, like, if it had just stayed what it was, like, it would have just been a strange religion, but it didn't have to get to this point where it was, like, cultish.
Scary.
You know? Yeah.
Totally.
So, anyway, yes, she gets very depressed. She kind of dives further into the conscious development group, though through her depression, she did manage to still find a new husband. So she does get remarried, and time kind of moves on. And time kind of moves on, and things seem to be getting there. Though she's still very depressed and very sad, things are getting there for poor Terri. You know.
Oh, you mean for Sandy?
God, yes, Sandy. Guys, I think it's that their names don't even sound the same. But the fact that they end with an I, it's throwing me off. I'm so glad that you're.
That's okay. I'm like just barely sober enough to notice.
Yeah, so I'm really sorry. I hope none of this gets
that's okay.
misinterpreted by things that I'm accidentally saying. Oh, jeez. Okay, anyways, so as Sandy gets more entrenched in the conscious development group, she eventually decides that she's going to write not even just a new will. She is actually going to give all of her things to Terri.
Oh
Everything.
my God. Well, and it's like, it's kind of one of those things where I'm picturing it. It's not something where like Terri comes to Sandy and is like, hey, you need to leave me all of your things in your will. It was probably something where it's like, you know, the weekly sermon or whatever that Terri is giving. It's like, you know, she's probably planting these little seeds.
Well, it's funny that you say that because Sandy called these things, all of her things, her worldly goods. So it sounds like something someone could easily say, like, you need to let go of your worldly goods.
Totally. I mean, that's like cult practice number one.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
give the church, give the founding member all of your things, everything.
'Cause
So
then you have
that you can
nothing.
prove.
Yeah, so you can prove yourself, and then also so you have nothing to, like, hold you to this world. Like, you're
Yes.
invested entirely in this conscious development of your soul kind of situation.
Yes. I mean, that's classic cult. It's like Scientology, Heaven's Gate was even like that. I mean, like
Yeah.
all cults are like that. They go after rich people.
Yep. Yeah, and that definitely seems to be the case.
Yeah.
So yeah, she gives all of her worldly goods
Holy shit.
to Terri. This included her house, her
Oh my God.
jewelry, her artwork. She took out a $300,000 life insurance policy on herself, payable to Terri in the event of her own death, Sandy.
Well, and that's just like, oh my God, that's blind. That's mind blowing. Well, and it's kind of one of those things.
She has a husband, and she took out this life insurance policy to benefit Terri.
Well, and it's like, if you think about what, it didn't occur to me until just now, but if you think about what a life insurance policy is, it is to take care of your family. Like, you know, your husband, if you're the main breadwinner, it would help take care of your spouse. It would help take care of your kids. What it shouldn't do is help take care of your random friend.
Yeah. I mean,
and that's essentially what it's doing.
Want to do something like that, but this is still just wild. Like, this is just still really weird. Like, Terry's got all these people who are dying and leaving her all this money already. She doesn't need more.
I'm amazed that nobody caught on to this, where it's just like, oh my gosh, people are dying left and right, and they're all leaving their money to the same person.
Yes. Yep.
Jeez.
Yeah. So, in addition to all those things, she updated her will, also leaving everything to Terri in the event of her death. So you can obviously see where this is going.
Yes. Holy shit.
Yes.
Okay.
And keep in mind, this is Devereaux's mom, the one who maybe drowned her own daughter.
Allegedly drowned her own daughter.
Drowned her own daughter.
Yes.
So Sandy obviously had a decent amount of money. So she was able to, she had a housekeeper who was very, very close to Sandy. She was over there all the time, like doing all her things around her house for her. And her name was Louise Watson. Okay. And Sandy, being so close to Louise, somehow also convinced Louise to write a will.
Oh my God. Is Louise like even in the cult, or is she just like, I think collateral damage?
I think she was, but I couldn't confirm that. I tried, but all I could find was that she was her housekeeper. So I think that she knew of Terri and she had known Terri, but I don't think that she was a very devoted member of the group. Though
maybe it was okay. Well, maybe it was more of like, my boss is super into this crazy lady. If I want to keep my job, I guess I should be too.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
I've even described their relationship as like they were friends-ish.
Okay.
They were close. Though there was this like, you clean my house, I pay you kind of situation. They were friends. So I feel like there's no way that Louise had no idea, about Terri, but I don't.
Yeah, I'm sure she probably had dirt, I'm sure.
Yeah, and she may have gone with her a couple times or something. I don't really know. Or maybe she was a really active member. I'm not 100% sure on that, but
okay.
So Louise, also writes this will, who again Terri would benefit from.
How are these people like? I'm sorry. I'm so frustrated. And it's like, how are these people not catching on? But it's like, Jillian, you have to understand that these people probably had no idea and were thinking about other things. And, they were so brainwashed.
Yep.
that they probably had no idea. And I need to remember that. I need to remind myself of that. Well, and it's like, it was on the Nexium documentary where one of the main women that was in it, she was talking about how when you talk about these things in like quick succession, like what we're talking about, where it's like a series of events one by one, like dominoes, when you're talking about them so close together like that, she herself is like, how could I have been so blind? But she said that these things that happened to her over years.
Right.
And you see like individually, it's like, oh, that's kind of weird, but it's whatever. Yeah. And then 6 months later, something else happens and it's like, oh, that's kind of weird, but it's whatever. And, so it's like all together, they sound crazy.
Yeah.
But when it's all spread out over, multiple years, it could easily get swept under the rug. And I need to remind myself of that because I feel like I could easily turn into a judgmental person in this situation.
Well, and that, I mean, sorry, go ahead, Kyle.
Yeah, in a situation like that, it's like they progressively change what you are able to accept.
Yes, and what you have access to in like other ways also.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Like things happening over years. That is kind of the case. I mean, Devereaux, her daughter, died in, what year was it? 1979.
Okay.
So the time that they changed their will, it was at least a year later. At least.
Okay. Yeah.
So it wasn't like a few months. I mean, a year isn't that long, but I mean, keep in mind her daughter just died, so she's doing a lot of strange things. Like people aren't really noticing it. And on top of it, like a lot of these incidences are accidental deaths or like suicides. So people don't really think much of it until they are all lined up like this. You know? So, but it's true. Like a lot of the family members of the people who have died or gone missing throughout this whole journey with Terri Hoffman, the family members, I believe there are lawsuits like out there. Like, why did no one see that this was happening? Like, you, the police, should have noticed something.
Yeah, well, and even I said that, where it's like, how did the police not notice that people were dying and everything was being left to one person?
Yeah, even some lawyer who's like, wow, this is the 5th will that has gone to this.
Or the insurance company, like whoever these life insurance policies were through. I'm surprised that they didn't. I mean, they're insurance companies, like they have the bottom line, that's their goal, is to make sure that the bottom line is, the bottom line. Yeah. And the fact that even they didn't do an investigation to look into this is surprising to me.
People come in and they willingly change their will, and it's like, what are you going to do about it? Like it's
that's true. Well, and I remember thinking last week so I think it's on HBO or HBO Max. I don't know. There's too many HBOs. Let's just be honest. There's too many HBOs. But on one of them, there is a documentary about that teenage girl who basically like talked her boyfriend into committing suicide.
Yeah.
And it was one of those. So I can handle a lot. Like I've said before, I eat true crime for breakfast. I got about 3 minutes into this documentary and had to stop because it was just
icky,
so infuriating and icky. And it was teenagers like Devereaux. I think they were a little bit older than Devereaux, but they were still kids legally. And it was just kind of one of those things where I was just like, oh my God, I can't even handle this right now. But talking someone into suicide, just knowing about that case, is something that can absolutely happen.
Totally. Yes.
Yeah. And it's just like,
was clearly a master manipulator. She studied hypnotism, all sorts of things. So that was something that's mentioned a lot. Like she had to have been hypnotizing these people into killing themselves, which I don't know. I don't know enough about hypnotism to say like, yeah, that could totally happen, but who's to say it couldn't,
Yeah. Well, and even the reincarnation thing, like, if you peddle that enough and get somebody who really is believing that enough.
You're that
And this
just
girl,
kill yourself because you'll just come back.
yeah, you'll come back and you get to start over, and you know, you'll have a better life next time, because that's how reincarnation. I don't know how reincarnation works, you know, but anyway, and like that girl on that, I can't remember her name, and honestly, I don't care because she's a raging psychopath. But that girl on that documentary, she basically convinced her boyfriend to do it through love. You know, like it's basically like, I love you so much, and I love you enough to let you do this. And that was kind of what it was. And it's like, it could have, you know, so Terri could have been.
It was actually
Yeah.
different. Like, she killed the boyfriend, but she claimed like he was begging her to kill him, so she did.
That might have been a different case.
It was. No, it was. This was
okay.
different. Yeah, she literally suffocated him.
In a car.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know which case you're talking about. It was in a Walmart parking lot, but
yeah, and they were young, and they were like kind of, you know, nomadic kind of people together.
Yeah,
and,
they were drifters.
you know, and he was described as a little bit depressed, but not like, I don't know. It was just wild because they were like, you literally could have just left him and he could have done it himself, but you had to go and murder him.
Yeah, you had to like do it for him.
And now look where you're at in prison.
Yeah. Well, and the girl on HBO, the one that convinced her boyfriend to kill himself, I mean, he basically was like, okay, tonight's the night. I mean, again, I got 3 minutes of this documentary, so I don't know all of it. But from what I could gather, it was basically like, okay, tonight's the night. And she's pretty much like, I love you enough to let you do this. Like, you need to just do what you need to do what you feel is right. And she's basically just like egging him on. Yeah. So convincing someone to commit suicide, I feel like, is absolutely something that can happen.
Yeah, and does. It totally.
Yeah, and is it hard to prove? Fuck yeah, it is. But which is probably why Terri is, you know, got away scot-free, I'm assuming, with some of this. It's just like, but what's scary is that nobody noticed.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, people noticed, and we'll get there, but
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I'll let you continue. Okay. That was my soapbox.
No, that's fine. It's all right. Okay, so we are at Sandy leaving everything to Terri, including a new will, leaving everything to Terri, excluding Sandy's new husband.
Oh my God, I bet
her new husband gets nothing.
Who knows? Like, maybe he was like, nope, I'm in a cult and everything goes to the cult leader. I'm used to this shit.
I don't know. He's also unnamed, so I don't know if he was in the cult or not. I'm assuming he probably was. But Terri never would have allowed her to marry someone who wasn't.
Yeah,
but
that makes sense.
She also has the housekeeper, Louise Watson, that she's convinced to leave another will benefit Terri in the event of Louise's death as well. Okay, moving on. In September 1981, Sandy pressures, and that's the word I want to like stress. She pressured Louise into going with her to visit Colorado. And I will say,
I'm nervous.
I know. Louise didn't want to go. She was just kind of like, well, why? But I guess it could be sure, I'll go with you, whatever. She didn't really want to go, but she went. Sandy's sister lives in Colorado. And so Sandy was like, let's go visit my sister. Oh, BTW, Conscious Development, aka Terri's cult, just bought some land in Colorado. And I think we should go look at it while we're there. So Sandy's like, ugh, I guess, fine, whatever.
Wait, not Sandy. Sandy's housekeeper.
Yes.
You're on a roll.
Sorry, everybody. I swear to God, I've had one beer. It's been a day. We'll just say that. I'm so sorry. Yeah. And there's a lot of names to remember in this. Okay?
There are it's just like from one person to the other, and they all have friends and acquaintances. Yeah.
It's together. Yeah. Yes. So Sandy's sister is in Colorado. She convinces Louise to go with her to take a look at this new cult land and then visit Sandy's sister. And Louise is like, yeah, sure, I guess, whatever.
Okay.
On September 9th, 1981, the pair left Sandy's sister. So they arrived in Colorado at Sandy's sister's house safely. Everything's good to go.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, okay, we're going to head out. It was good to see you, sister. Bye-bye. We'll see you later. Well,
We're going to go see the land we just bought. Which, by the way, like, if you have a group of friends and they're like, hey, we just bought land, you should come live in our land, you're fucking in a cult. Okay? Like, that's like cult rule number one. Like, hi, all my friends just bought land and we're all going to live on it together. You are in a motherfucking cult. I'm going to say it again, a cult.
They're called communes, Jillian.
No, you are in a cult. Stop pretending.
Well, like, some people literally just, like, live in a commune. Like, I was literally just listening to a podcast where someone, like, lived in a commune, and it was just, like, some of them are nudist. Some of them
you're in a nudist cult.
It's not, nudists aren't cults. Not
No,
all
I know,
nudists are cults, okay? But,
I'm
like,
just kidding.
people
I'm just
are
kidding.
about sustainability and, like, you know, let's live together on this land, and we're not going to force you to live a religion, and you just do whatever the fuck you want. But, like, we can live here and live sustainably together. Like, they're not all cults, but I get where you're coming from. I get it.
It's just like that's like the way it always goes. You know, like cults always live on private land.
Yeah. Well, this one didn't. They didn't.
Well, until now, they bought a whole bunch of land in Colorado.
That actually never happens.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
so they didn't
either
live
way. You know what I mean, everybody.
Yes. Okay, sorry guys. Whew. We just went on a wild tangent of weird things.
Yeah, that you don't need to hear.
Yeah. We're back now.
Yes, we're going to get back into it. Sorry.
Yes. And we left off with Sandy and Louise went and visited Sandy's sister and to also check out this land, right?
Mm-hmm.
So on September 9th, 1981, the pair, so Sandy and Louise, left Sandy's sister's house to go take a look at this land. And they're like, ta-ta for now. See you soon.
Okay.
To the sister. They were never heard from again.
Either one?
Yes. We'll get into what happens, though.
Oh my gosh, stop it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
I'm already depressed.
They never made it back, obviously.
Okay.
The following day, Sandy's car is found at the bottom of a cliff.
No way.
I shouldn't laugh. That's my awkward, like, oh my God.
I know.
So uncomfortable.
She's laughing because she's uncomfortable, not because she thinks it's funny. But
yeah.
That's fucked up.
Cliff. At the bottom is Sandy's car. Both women had died on impact, and their bodies were ejected from the car. So they were not in the car, but they were found nearby.
Okay, and so they obviously weren't wearing seatbelts.
It did not say. But
okay, let this be a PSA for everybody. Wear your fucking seatbelt, okay? And a mask. While I'm at it, wear your mask.
Just for COVID times. If you're listening to this past COVID times, then the masks maybe aren't necessary. We'll see when we get there. But
yeah,
belts still are.
Yes, always wear your seatbelt, you guys.
Though, do you think it was an accident?
I haven't had time to process that. So my gut, when you first told me what had happened, my gut is that Sandy was like, hey, I'm going to drive this motherfucker over this cliff and you're coming with me. And then she just like went for it. That was my immediate impression.
That's my assumption too, is that she drove them off the cliff intentionally. And who knows? I mean, just because you had your seatbelt on doesn't mean you are indefinitely going to stay in the car. Like, they could have still been thrown from the car, even if Louise had her car seat. Oh my God, I have children, y'all.
That's how you know.
Her seatbelt on. Could have still been ejected from the car, but
what year was this?
1981. So this is 5 years after Devereaux has died.
Okay, because I know that like for a while, I mean like because like seat
sorry,
belts.
this is only 2 years. Oh my gosh, 2 years after Devereaux has died.
Okay, so 1970?
1979 is when Devereaux, Sandy's daughter, drowned.
Okay.
1981 is when Sandy, her mother, and then the housekeeper, Louise Watson, died by car accident.
Okay. Because, well, so like part of me starts thinking like, you know, if you think about back in the day when cars were first invented, there was no such thing as seatbelts. And it was not even a blip on anybody's radar. Even in like the 50s, you know, like our parents talk about how they remember standing up on the seat as toddlers in the back of cars. And there was like, you know, maybe a rope or something. There was no seatbelts. Like that was kind of like a new thing.
Right. But
so I guess what?
This is the 80s.
I know. Well, it's like seatbelts are obviously a thing. But what I don't know, so Paige and I were born in 1990. Kyle was born in what, 81? 82. So
January.
What?
January of 82.
January 82.
So
Kyle, do you remember as a child do you remember that if seatbelts were quite as important as they are now?
No, definitely not. Like it wasn't really ingrained into us as kids really until I'd say maybe late elementary school. I remember riding around all the time without one. And I mean, no mom shaming here, please. That's just the way it was back then.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it's like, I mean, all parents were like that.
She may have not even known. Like, she maybe assumed you had your seatbelt on. Like, maybe she put it on you when you got in the car, but then you took it off.
Yeah, that's
well,
definitely
it's
possible.
just like, it's a different time, you know? Like, even now, like, if you think about us, like Paige and I as kids in the 90s, you know, well, and to now, like, kids are basically in car seats until I swear to God, like 12 years old sometimes.
Yeah.
And like back when Paige and I were kids, like you were in a car seat until you were like 3, you know? Yeah. So it's just a different time. We didn't have the same amount of information as we do now. So don't berate our mom or your parents for not making you wear a seatbelt. They probably should have, but they probably didn't know any better. But what I'm trying to say is that in the early 80s, maybe Louise wasn't wearing a seatbelt because she didn't think she had to, because that was just the time that it was. Yeah.
Good point.
So then Sandy's basically like pedal to the metal, here we fucking go. And Louise is probably just literally, she could have been along for the ride and not even known.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you're probably right. I didn't even think about that, like the seatbelt aspect of it, but yeah.
It was just a thought that crossed my mind, where it's like maybe she didn't know that she was going to die. It was just like, it was solely Sandy's, again, allegedly it was, maybe could have been solely Sandy's idea to take this thing over the edge. And Louise was just, unfortunately, again, collateral damage.
Along for the Terry death train.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Along for the Terry death train ride.
Yes.
Yes. Well, and to attest to that, the police actually didn't find like any skid marks on the road. So there was like no attempt to try to swerve or stop to prevent driving over this fucking cliff.
Oh my God.
And there also were no witnesses.
Can you imagine the fear? I'm sorry, I'm going into like an empathy mode where it's like, can you just imagine like, you know, going over this cliff and being like, this is it. Like,
there's
I'm
no
done.
coming out of this. Yeah. Well, and there was also like no cause for the accident, like as far as they could tell in the car or anything like that.
Jeez.
So yeah, she literally was just along for the fucking ride.
Okay, and the car hadn't been tampered with, like the brakes hadn't
Not that
been.
I could find.
Okay, I'm sure that would have been noted if that was the case.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to tell because the car went over a fucking cliff, but yeah.
Wow. Okay, that is a total bummer.
Yes.
And I feel really bad. I feel really bad for both of them, but I feel especially bad for Louise because I have a sneaking suspicion that
She had no
she
idea.
yeah, she had no idea. She just like got in the car with her friend that day and had no idea that she was going to end up at the bottom of a ravine.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
by killing them that way, or supposedly, I mean, any post-mortem damage that would happen from the supposed car crash would have hidden anything previously done. I would
Yeah.
think, anyway.
Yeah, like what if Sandy had incapacitated Louise somehow just to make her compliant in this, you know what I mean? Like there really would have been no way to tell, I suppose.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, anything physical anyway.
Yeah, I wouldn't have
Yeah.
thought of that.
Yeah. As the rest of this story has obviously laid out for you, Terri magically shows up at the local hospital to claim the bodies of these two women.
Wait,
Yeah.
when you say magically, can you elaborate on that?
She came in through a portal in Realms.
Stop it.
No, I'm kidding.
Stop it. No, like
No,
legit. Tell me what
she
happened.
just drives up to the hospital and is like, hey, yo, I'm here to collect these two women's bodies. They belong to me.
Well, I guess my question is, did she show up before anybody called her? So was she like, "Hi, I'm here to collect these bodies," and they're like, "Who the fuck are you? Nobody called you."
You know, I'm not entirely sure, actually.
Okay.
I would assume someone called her.
Okay.
I can
Okay.
imagine.
We'll go with that then.
Yeah. I can look. I have the article here.
No, it's fine. I'm sure you
She
would have
probably
noted it.
convinced one of them to be their emergency contact or something like that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess you're right. Like if
Probably.
she maybe that was it. Like if they had planned this, if Sandy had planned this, she probably. Well, and who knows? Like she could have even given a phone number to her sister and been like, "Hey, if something ever happens to me, call this phone number." You know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
That could. I'm speculating.
Yeah,
but you know.
It does say that she showed up 2 days after the accident. So
Okay.
I'm assuming she must have found out. But yes, she shows up at the hospital and is like, yo, these bodies are mine.
I have arrived. Okay.
And shortly after that, Terri receives the life insurance policies.
Stop it. Oh my God. Okay. All right.
Yuppers. Yeah. However, there was a legal dispute with Sandy's family. Basically, they were like, no, that's not really fair. This woman is manipulative, and it seems strange that this keeps happening. Like, we're not buying this.
Finally.
So, in order to avoid the lawsuit, Terri says, all right, I guess I'll split half of it with you.
It's hush hush money. That's what it is. She's trying to not make waves.
Yeah, and she probably was able to say, like, look, this will is legit. Like, she made this of her own free will. You can't really contest it, but just because I'm such a nice person, I will give you half.
Oh my God. It's disgusting. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Jeez.
Yeah.
All right.
So this also includes Sandy's new husband, which I will say that the family members that contested this, like, will issue was not Sandy's husband. So poor Sandy's husband literally got nothing.
You've got to be shitting me.
He got nothing. Though,
like, that's literally the point
honest,
of a will.
I know. If we're being honest, he probably did belong in Terry's little crew. So I don't know. But anyway.
He got it by proxy, I guess.
Yes.
I don't know.
But if you think about it, like, Terry got the house that he lived in with Sandy.
Yeah.
So Terry fucking probably booted him out of his house and was like, this is mine now. Bye-bye.
Do you think he saw it coming? I mean, we have no way to know. Again, we're speculating, but I really want to know if he's like, shit, like, okay, she's dead. All right, this is Terry's now. Or do you literally think like Terry showed up and was like, hi, this is my house now, you can leave?
I have no idea. I mean, it sounds more exciting that way, but
I would love to be a
mean,
fly on the wall.
I know. If he was a member of the cult, then he probably knew.
Okay. Yeah.
You know.
He probably, yeah, you're right. You're right. Okay.
But as I said before, Terri also got everything from Louise. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's awful.
Yeah. So another one bites another two bites the dust.
Yeah, seriously. She's going to lose her whole congregation if she keeps convincing. Oh, sorry. Allegedly convincing them to kill themselves. Sorry, my mouth got away with me.
There you go.
Oh my god.
It would be a lot easier if we could just say literally everything we were thinking about this woman.
I know. I'm afraid of getting sued.
Yeah. Especially, it's one thing if she was charged with some of these things, but she wasn't. So
yeah,
literally we cannot.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on. After the untimely death of Sandy, Terri suddenly found herself without a secretary treasurer.
Oh, I was going to say another husband, but...
Oh, no, we're not there.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right. That's good. That's true. She allegedly convinced her secretary to commit suicide.
Her,
allegedly.
number 2 in her cult has now died.
Oh my god. Okay.
So she appoints a woman named Robin Ostott. Sorry, Ostott.
I have to admit, I kind of love that last name.
I know. Ostott. Robin Ostott.
Ostott. Okay.
Yeah.
Like it.
Obviously, we know things are not going to end well for poor Robin, right?
Yeah. At this point, yes, we all know.
We all know where things are going. Robin was said to be one of Terri's most devout followers, so it made sense that she became her number 2 after Sandy's death, right?
Yes.
She was so devout. So remember that I mentioned in the first episode that Terri started to sell like energized jewelry that she made to her followers.
Yes.
Yeah. So basically they would make jewelry. She would make jewelry. It was her and her ex-husband, but then he died mysteriously.
You mean... I was gonna say
mysterious suicide. We'll just say that.
A mysterious suicide. Yes. That sums it up pretty well.
Yeah. So now it's just Terri left to make her own jewelry. I don't know if she has remarried yet or not. By the end of all this, she has like 5 husbands. Some of them make it out. Some of them don't.
Okay.
Okay.
God.
I don't have the exact number of her husbands. How many husbands she actually had, but it was more than your average amount of husbands.
Yes. Yeah. I say 3. 3 is a lot, but not unheard of. But 5, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
And unheard of.
It's not unheard of. People marry a lot of times, but 5 is a lot. Yes.
5 is a lot. Yeah.
And to all have them die, or not all of them. Again, not all of them died under strange circumstances, but some of them did.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, Terri is making this jewelry, right? She spiritually and energy charges it. And then apparently these gems these jewelry pieces will protect the wearer from bad things happening to them. And the more expensive...
Suicide.
I know, right? Yes, exactly. Suicide, negative thoughts, whatever.
Yeah, geez.
Yeah. So, and the more expensive the jewelry was, the better it would be at protecting you.
Okay.
Very culty.
Yeah, the pyramid scheme.
Yes.
Alas. Yeah.
Here we are.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Robin Ostott was well known for buying lots and lots of jewelry from Terri.
Okay.
She would sleep with them in her bed, under her bed. She was literally never without some of these jewelry pieces because she was very, very fearful of these dark lords that Terri tended to spin.
Okay, sure. Well, I mean, she probably didn't want to end up like Devereaux.
Right. Yes. Or
yes.
Sandy.
Yeah, or Sandy.
Or her ex-husband.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So that's a little bit about Robin. Well, there's more. I guess I'll get into more. In 1986, Robin began a supernatural, impassioned love affair
Stop it.
with...
Tell me everything. I love
I'm
it.
so glad I didn't stop at the gems that she...
Yes, I
collections
want to
of?
know all of it.
Yes. So this spirit that she was entangled with romantically was named George Jeffrey.
Okay. I have to admit that's somewhat ordinary for this situation, but okay.
Yes. Well, here's kind of why.
Okay.
He's not from another realm, if that's where you thought things were going.
Yes, that is what I thought.
Terri, let me get this right.
God. Oh my
Let
God.
me just
Okay.
read this note word for word.
Okay.
Terri apparently introduced the quote-unquote couple, saying that George was a dematerialized CIA agent in the American government.
Oh my God. Okay.
And the American government had tasked her to train him. And she was also tasked with protecting him using her spiritual powers. I can't even. It's like a movie.
I can't even. Kyle is like literally on the floor right now laughing. You all can't hear him, but I assure you it's entertaining.
I missed his face because I was so focused on what I was reading, but
I'm pretty sure he couldn't breathe. Oh my God.
Oh, isn't that...
Wow, I got a little tearful there. Kyle did too.
Yeah. So now...
Okay, wait. You need to can you summarize that one more time because it's so outrageous.
Yes, I was getting there. So poor Robin has found herself in the most interesting car on Terri's death train. Okay?
Okay, sorry, I'm still trying to pull myself together. It's just so outrageous.
You guys, when I was writing this, I was like, how the fuck do I even write this so that it just even makes sense?
I think you did a great job. Oh my God, poor Kyle. I think he's dying.
Oh my God, he's crying.
Yes, you have both of us tearful with just absolute sheer.
It's just so absurd. I just can't even.
So obnoxious.
Wow.
All
right.
Oh my gosh.
Summary.
While both Kyle and I dry our tears.
Let's see if I can come up with something super clever to say, though I'm not drunk. So we'll see.
Okay.
Hands, all right.
Okay.
So, Robin, while on the Terri death train, has found herself in the most strange train car of all. Okay?
Okay.
But lovely George that she has become...
Oh, you're narrating this.
Yes, I am. Romantically involved with a dematerialized man that the CIA has given to Terri. They're like, hey, no.
Oh my God, I'm sorry. I can't even contain myself. It's just so ridiculous.
Wait, I'm on a roll.
Sorry. Fun fact, I snort when I laugh. Okay, I'm sorry. Continue your roll.
The CIA is like, hey, Terri, we've managed to dematerialize this dude. So he is literally a spirit. You can't see him, you can't hear him, but alas, he is here. And we need you to protect him from the Dark Lords because you alone have the powers to do this. Oh, BTW, if he happens to fall in love with a poor, unsuspecting woman, that would just be icing on the fucking cake.
Oh my God.
Did I get it right?
You got it so right.
Mic drop. I need a fucking drink now.
Oh my God. Oh my God. We might need to like pause for a second while I
go
myself.
While you do that.
Okay.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Oh my God. That was just like, okay.
That was a
okay,
ride.
wait.
That was a wild, wild ride.
Yeah.
I know. Like, okay, we're back. All three of us are back. Like, we need to just regroup here for a second. I'm pretty sure Kyle almost died.
Almost.
Had a
Not
stroke.
quite.
I might have snorted from laughter a lot. Like, that was just like, wowee, Paige. I think you might have a career in storytelling.
Yes, as I said, molto bene. Molto bene.
Yes.
My kids, because they don't want to listen to half the shit I have to say.
Well, okay, let's be honest. Kid stories isn't your genre. It's going to be supernatural romance. I think that's what it's going to be. We're all waiting.
Erotic novel writer?
Yes, we're all waiting with bated breath for your next, vampire erotic novel with dematerialized CIA
I'll narrate it for
agents.
free.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, I don't know how I feel about our brother narrating your erotic fiction novel, but
oh my God.
it's like, wow. Oh my gosh.
That'd be fucking weird. That would be fucking weird.
That would be weird.
Goodness gracious.
Holy cow. Okay, well, now that
I appreciate your involvement in my storytelling because it definitely fueled my fire a little bit. I'm feeling a little bit hot to trot now. As Moira would say.
It was really good. That was very entertaining to listen to.
Thank you. Bowing.
Okay, yes, bravo to you. Oh my God, that was really
I'm so glad you all enjoyed it. I hope all of our listeners enjoyed it as much as we did because I sure enjoyed saying it. It was hilarious.
Well, if they get nothing else out of it, they'll get to hear me snort and narrate that Kyle is probably dying of laughter. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. Tell me more about poor Robin because I know this doesn't end well for her.
Yes. Poor Robin. All right. So even though, despite Robin having this impassioned love affair with the heir,
The heir?
This is actually super sad. George Jeffrey, the invisible CIA agent, obviously wasn't there for her because she became super depressed.
Wait. Okay. Wait. So when you said heir,
I need
to
CIA agent known as George Jeffrey.
Yes, but I need to know, was George Jeffries like a physical person or was he like literally heir?
Well, Terry claimed he was a dematerialized CIA agent. So what I took from that was that, hey, here's this person. We've literally taken his spirit out of his body and dispersed his cells into the air, and his physical body is no longer here. But George Jeffrey is here in spirit.
Okay, so you literally mean like she was having a love affair with the heir?
Yeah, like she apparently was having a love affair with a person that she believed was real, but was not.
Kyle's just like he's eating this up. Okay, all right.
No, George Jeffrey obviously was not a real person.
Okay,
But-
because for a second I was like, okay, in walks an actual real physical person that you can touch, feel, hear. And Terry's like, "Hi, this is George Jeffries. Don't tell anybody. He's a dematerialized CIA agent, and he's just for you."
No, his body was dematerialized, quote
Okay.
unquote. She
Okay.
had an affair with a spirit, basically.
Oh my God. Okay, sorry. That I needed I needed some further explanation
No,
on
that's
that, and I
okay.
feel like an idiot now.
No,
But
that's
I needed to know.
Yeah, no, that was probably good to clarify.
What I find so funny about that particular part of it is just imagining someone just trying to make love with air.
Yeah, was she-
Yes.
How was she
Yes.
getting
It's
off?
like, "Here, George, let me touch you." Oh wait, there goes my hand. Like, just,
I see
you know?
you're pitching a tent over there. Oh wait, it's invisible.
Yeah.
Cannot actually see your boner.
Pitching a tent. Oh my God, poor George. Oh my God. Okay. That's even wilder than I thought. Because
Yeah.
for some reason I thought that George Jeffries was like an actual person and was like
Playing
in on
along
this
with
like
it?
weird secret.
No. She was literally just saying, Terri was literally just saying, like, hey, there's this person next to me and he's a dematerialized CIA agent, so you can't actually see him.
Oh my gosh.
You can't
That's
see him,
insane.
you can't hear him, you can't touch him, but here he is to fall in love with. Enjoy.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. Sorry. I guess I need to brush up on what my definition of dematerialized means.
I had to kind of read it quite a few times to figure out what the fuck was happening.
Oh my
But
God.
yeah,
Okay.
she fell in love with a space of air that she believed was George Jeffrey.
This poor woman.
And no wonder she becomes depressed. Because she's like,
Yes.
my person that I'm so impassionately in love with doesn't seem to be reciprocating here.
Jeez, no,
I
you're
know.
right.
Yeah, so she becomes depressed. And on top of this, the other members of the conscious development group started saying that Robin had some toxic spiritual energies. She might be possessed by a dark lord because they are being attacked spiritually by her.
Oh no.
Yeah, so they kind of...
And here she is spending all this money on jewelry to prevent such a thing.
Exactly. And so are all the other people, yet it's still happening. So they believe that she is the one causing them misfortune and illness. So they're kind of like, we don't really want you here. I shouldn't laugh. That was my awkward laugh. Sorry. So yes, she becomes kind of depressed, isolated, not super happy in life, really super sad. It's not funny to make fun of depression because that's what she was obviously experiencing.
Mm-hmm. We've all been there. It's the worst.
Yeah. So soon after all this kind of starts going on, in April of 1987, Robin calls her husband, saying that...
Wait, Robin's married?
Yes. Yeah, it's an affair. She's having an affair with this ghostly spirit who's not there.
Oh my God. Okay.
That her husband doesn't know about. So that makes it even better. She believes she's cheating on him when she's not.
When she's really just really into masturbation.
Yeah.
Which there's nothing wrong with. It's a healthy thing. Like, you do you.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Wow. Okay. That was kind of a bomb there. I had no idea she was married.
Sorry. I guess I should have prefaced with that, but yes, she is married.
Okay. No, it was funnier that way.
So Robin calls her husband and she's like, babe, I'm terminally ill. I'm gonna die. I have an illness. Something's wrong with me.
I shouldn't laugh.
Her husband is like, oh my God, if you really think something's wrong with you, like, let's call the doctor. These are not actual quotes, by the way. This is just me doing my thing.
Paraphrasing.
Yeah. So the husband calls and makes a doctor's appointment for her later that week. He's like, go to the doctor. They're going to figure out what's wrong with you. We'll get you taken care of. Don't worry. I love you.
She has a dematerialized STD.
That's actually what she claimed.
No!
Not that specifically, not dematerialized, but she claimed she had an STD.
It just gets like even weirder.
Yeah.
What? I was totally joking.
I know, right? And it is stranger than fiction. The truth is stranger than fucking fiction in this case.
I mean, you're absolutely right. You're not even fucking joking. Wow. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, it was, she claimed she had a terminal case of viral hepatitis contracted. So I guess not really an STD, but, I guess hepatitis.
And I guess it's technically I think hepatitis can, they're technically STIs. I'm sorry. I'm dating myself a little bit. It's an STI.
Oh, yeah.
But I think hepatitis could be an STI. I don't know. We probably sound like idiots.
Well,
I don't
anyway,
know.
she claimed she got it from a banana peel.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Does that mean that...
What has she done with that poor banana?
Yep, that was my next question.
It was George Jeffrey, guys. It wasn't her. It was George Jeffrey with the banana gave her this hepatitis.
Because George Jeffries doesn't exist.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh my God. Okay.
But that's what she claims. She claims she has this terminal case of hepatitis given to her from a banana peel.
It's not funny. It's not funny. STIs and hepatitis are no fucking joke, and I shouldn't laugh.
But this.
But oh my God,
this is funny. This is really fucking funny. I feel
banana
really bad
peel?
for Robin because she's not in her right mind. I feel really, really bad for her, and we're not making fun of her. Mental illness isn't okay to make fun of either, but you gotta laugh sometimes. Like, that's how we make it through some of this shit, you know?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Her situation is you're right. The mental health thing is absolutely serious. We're not laughing at her mental health or Robin herself. I mean, we're laughing at the situation. That's what we're laughing at, I suppose.
Yes. Yeah.
So don't be mad at us. You have to admit this is kind of hilarious, okay?
Yeah. Okay, so her husband makes an appointment for her at her doctor's for later in the week, right?
Okay. He sounds like a nice guy.
I know, right? I don't mind that you've had an affair with this person that you didn't actually have an affair with. It's good. We're fine. We're good.
Yeah. Just lay off the banana peels.
Yeah. Lay off the banana peels.
I'm sorry.
On April 21st, 1987, Robin goes to the doctor about her illness. So she does go to the doctor that, she was supposed to go to. After her appointment, she visits Terri. Because that's what you do when you're in a cult. You go and tell the person that's
the
in charge
ringleader
what's going on.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, now that all the laughs are out, after she left Terry's, she went home and unfortunately committed suicide by gun. There it is.
No. Yeah. Now I feel really bad.
No, it is really sad. It is really sad that, I feel like she should have been treated for her mental illness, though maybe no one really realized what was actually going on. But yes, it is very, very...
yeah, it's unfortunate that that it happened. It's kind of up to her to disclose what she wants to those doctors, because I have a feeling if she went into this doctor and said, "Hi, I got hepatitis from a banana peel because I'm having a sexual relationship with the heir and a dematerialized CIA agent," I'm sure something probably would have been done.
Yes.
Yes.
Unless maybe that is something that happened, and then when she went to Terri, I don't know. We don't have the records, obviously, for her doctor's visits. We don't know. But yeah. She could have gone to Terri and been like, "Yo, they think I'm fucking nuts." And then she's like, "No, you're not nuts, but your soul belongs to the other realms. So you might as well go there, Terri." Or not Terri. Robin.
Robin. Yes. No, you're right. Like, it could have been like, you want to be with George, it's time.
Yeah. It's very possible that something happened, like some sort of conversation happened between her and Terri. after the doctor's appointment, wherein then she decided that her best course of action was to commit suicide.
Oh, that's so
I
sad.
know. It is really sad.
I would have loved to have heard the rest of this story with rest of her story. And just because I'm curious, like, if that didn't happen, what would her story have been? You know?
Yeah. Yep.
That's really sad.
Yeah. So, of course, a note was found at the scene of her death.
Of course.
Okay, so the note is a little bit odd sounding, as all of these notes have sounded. Like anyone who's left any of these weird notes, if they're suicides or whatever, they've all been kind of odd.
Mm-hmm.
So it says, quote, I'm apologizing to Terri 3,000 times a week on all levels of my being for the highly offensive, rude, and vulgar comments made to her last week. I love her dearly and beg her forgiveness one day. So that's what the note said. Once again,
Okay.
despite having close family members and a husband, Terri is listed as sole beneficiary in her will that she had recently made.
I mean, I can't say I'm
I know, at this point you're like
surprised.
okay. And there goes another one.
Yeah, that's just, you know, I guess that's just it. But it is weird because it's kind of a theme with all of these notes where the notes are all kind of praising Terri and, oh, like, I apologize so much for the mean things that I said about Terri. And it's like, you know, what if you think about this in you know, an aspect of maybe Terri wrote this, and it could be something where these are things that Terri wants to hear from these people.
Yeah, well, that was one thing that I noticed was there was never any like contest over who wrote the notes. That's the weird part. Like, I don't know if they didn't look into it or what, but there was nothing that said like, oh, you know what? This note that my 14-year-old daughter left actually doesn't look like her handwriting. That's kind of weird. There was nothing like that. So I do believe that the people were actually writing this. Though, as I mentioned before, there's like a big heavy note of hypnotism. So maybe it was something along those lines.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right. That's something to think about.
So blood tests were done on Robin after her death, and there was no terminal illness found in her body or any other diseases. So where she got this idea that she was going to die from this weird, crazy disease, we do not know.
Okay.
So, yep, that's the one more on Terri's death train.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
Yeah. So, let's move on because we've got yet more to go through.
Oh my God. Okay.
Okay, so we're going to rewind just a little bit. Well, yeah, just a tad. Though this happens, I'm presenting these in chronological order, but there's some like, you know, blending of timelines, you know, people knew other people, all that kind of stuff. Okay, so moving on. After some of these deaths have happened and family members had like tried to contest wills, specifically Sandy's families, you know, Sandy's family was like, no, you are not getting all of her money. And Terri had to split it with the family members. Terri became very leery of holding large group meetings after that for some reason. I don't really know why, but
paranoia is a bitch.
I know, right? So instead of doing the large group meetings that she used to do, she started instead doing individual meetings with her followers. Which, if you think about it, is very, very convenient for her because then there's no witnesses to her saying things or hypnotizing people or manipulating people because the meetings were very private.
Yeah, it's also like that has a Scientology vibe to it.
Yep. It's very weird. But with that happening, since people were no longer meeting in these groups, people started kind of spreading out, moving away, that kind of thing, doing phone meetings with her, that kind of stuff. So then the religion, quote unquote, started to kind of spread. It was no longer concentrated in Texas anymore. There was still a lot, but things kind of were spreading to other states. One of the areas that got a very large following was actually Chicago, which was kind of surprising to me.
Yeah.
So by 1987, there was a large group of Chicago followers, and one of those followers was named Mary Levinson. Mary Levinson was described as depressed, troubled, had attempted suicide on multiple occasions.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, kind of sad. That kind of stuff. Mary became very close to Terri through phone calls. They would talk all the time. Terri would often do phone meetings with her. And Mary's mother reported that when she was living with her, that Mary requested that her mother leave the building while she was on the phone with Terri.
Wow.
Like, not just like,
that's...
can you go in the other room? She made her leave the building.
Wow, that is bold.
Yes.
Okay.
Because she insisted her meetings were just that private.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah. So on Monday, November 30th, 1987, Mary was found deceased.
Oh no.
A drug overdose in her apartment. She did actually leave a video, however, stating that she had taken out all of her money, which she didn't have much. So just the little bits of money that she had, although she had something from like a divorce or something like that. So she had a little bit of money, but she had taken it out. And in her video, she stated she donated all her money to a charitable organization. In her video, she refused to state the organization for fear that they would try to track the money down and contest it. So yeah, in her video, she was like, I need you not to, try to find out where my money went. This is where I wanted it to go. You need to leave it at that. Her money still has not been found. They have no idea.
So it didn't go to Terri?
Well, they don't know. I would for dramatization's sake, I would like to say, yeah, it probably did, and she just hid it.
Oh my God. Okay.
Her family does believe that it went to Terri, or that it went to Terri, or it went to Mary's boyfriend. So Mary had a boyfriend who was also a member of the conscious development group, and he was very involved in it. And they do believe that either it went straight to Terri or it went to Mary's boyfriend, who then probably gave it to Terri. And that's what her family believes. That's not just saying that. Her family does believe that.
Okay. Yeah. Wow, what a bummer.
No. Yeah. So, moving further along, here we go.
Oh my gosh. Yet another notch in Terri's belt.
Yes. The same year as Mary's suicide, another Chicago conscious development member was found incoherent and roaming the streets of Chicago, mumbling to himself in an apparent mental breakdown.
Uh-oh.
This man was Charles Southern, and he was actually an English professor at the local college. So he was, educated and, a reputable person, right?
Sure.
Charles was a close follower of Terri's and often made trips to Texas to visit her, to help her, quote unquote, fight off the Dark Lords.
Oh, good grief.
Because Terri at one point claimed that she was under spiritual attack from the Dark Lords. So he hops on a plane and is like, I've got your back, girlfriend. And they do tons of meditation sessions and apparently save Terri's life from these Dark Lords.
Oh, good grief. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'm sure there was some hump the devil out of you situation in there too.
Well, it was funny because when I saw this part, so The Unsolved Mysteries segment was about Charles Southern specifically.
Oh, okay.
So even though there's tons and tons of all this shit for all these other poor people, this one is a little different. And
Okay.
so that's why it was on Unsolved Mysteries. And that's where I learned about this whole shebang. Just from his story alone. And then I was like, wow, what the fuck is this about? So that's when I started researching things and was like, wow, there is a gold mine of shit on this.
Yes.
Cold here. So, but yeah. So, but in the Unsolved Mysteries segment, when they talked about this part where he went to Texas to like fight off these Dark Lords, there was other people there.
Okay.
Like, I think it was like large groups of people, Terry laying on the bed, like, and then all these people like, go away, Voldemort, go away. That kind of thing.
Okay. I can picture it now.
Yes.
Really, I can.
Yeah. Charles was one of those people who was assisting in the banishment of Voldemort from Terry's soul.
Okay. All right. That was good. That was a good metaphor. I appreciated that.
It was just funny because it was like there's all this talk about the Dark Lords. This was before Harry Potter, but I was like, wow. Wowee, Voldemort is in the other realm attacking Terri Hoffman.
Oh my god.
Anyway, yes. So, but going back to finding Charles Southern, roaming around the streets of Chicago, having a mental breakdown, not making any sense. Charles was found and then hospitalized. And then while he was in the hospital, his mom kind of stayed with him and didn't really want to leave his side. But pretty regularly, conscious development group members would come and visit him and insist that his mother leave the room. And she did, because Charles was like, yep, you need to leave. And she would leave. And they would leave and she'd go back in and he would, I don't know, be doing whatever. But she spoke on the Unsolved Mysteries segment the most, and she talked a lot about how strange it was. She didn't understand why these people were here. She had never met them. He wouldn't tell them who they are. He wouldn't tell her who they were. That kind of thing. It was just very, very strange, and she got a really icky vibe from these people.
Wow.
Yeah. After being released from the hospital, he told his mother that he wasn't feeling conscious development or Terry anymore. He just wasn't into that anymore. Didn't really want much to do with them anymore. So
that's a good sign.
Yeah. He was like, I think I'm going to take a trip to India to just kind of get some space, get some new perspective, do some meditation out there, learn some new things. He was really excited about this trip. Couldn't wait to go. He called his mom just a couple days before and was telling her yeah, I can't wait to go. I'm getting ready to go. His mom kind of noticed that he was kind of acting strangely, though. So she was like, do you need me to come down? Make sure you get on your plane okay. And he was like, no, Mom. I'm good. I'm really excited to go. I'm going to get on the plane. Don't worry. I'm not brainwashed anymore. We're fine. So they assume he leaves on his trip, right?
Okay.
2 weeks later, they still have not heard from him.
Oh, no.
So they become concerned for him. So his mom goes over to his apartment. She didn't live in Chicago. She lived kind of a ways away. From what I gathered, she had to take a plane to get there. It wasn't just a drive over, but so she's worried about his whereabouts. So she's like, we're going to go to his apartment, see what's going on. They go into his apartment. They find his passport in his apartment without any stamps in it from India. Back.
Okay.
So they were like, okay, so he never made it to India, clearly.
Oh my gosh. Can you imagine what his mom was probably thinking in that moment? It's just so heartbreaking.
Yeah. His family also found a vial of poison curare. Curare?
I don't know.
Curare. Curare.
Okay.
Poison curare.
All right. Your guess is as good as mine. Yeah.
So they found this little vial of poison in his apartment, and his coat and hat had been neatly folded and placed on a tiny stool. They looked into that. They're like, what the fuck is this about? And they found out that that was actually a Nigerian symbol of death.
Wait, the hat and jacket on the stool?
So yeah, I'll show you guys a picture.
Oh, but I see it. It's the photo of the hat.
Yeah, so there's a photo on there that has like, it's like a hat sitting on something, and it's his coat, and then those are sitting on this tiny little footstool.
Yes.
And apparently
Okay.
that is like a Nigerian like symbol of death. I don't know what the fuck that means, but that's a thing, apparently.
That's interesting. Okay.
So they find that and they're just like, wow, that's really strange. They also find 2 notes that are really illegible. Didn't really look super like his handwriting, but like were really hard to read. One was stating that he was leaving all of his money and his belongings to Terri.
Of course.
Yes. And another stating, quote, I came under a bad influence and I was trying to fight it myself. So basically what I got from this, like, I came under a bad influence, I was trying to fight it myself, to me means like someone was basically telling him, like, obviously the fact that you're wanting to leave the group means that something has infiltrated your spirit and
good God.
you're under attack. So you need help. Like that kind of thing.
Oh my
Though
God.
obviously that's just speculation. I have no idea. But I'm just like, ick. Super ick. So Charles Southern has never been seen or heard from again.
Oh no, seriously?
Yes. Many believe his disappearance is linked to Terri and her group, but no one has obviously been able to confirm that.
Wow.
No one's found a body. Nothing. Yeah.
What a bummer.
So, yeah, no one's really seen him or heard from him ever again.
Oh,
Charles would be 72 years old today.
Okay.
Let's just give a little PSA.
Yeah. Yes, please.
He would be 72 today. He is African American with brown eyes and brown hair. He was 6'2" and weighed 180 pounds at the time of his disappearance. So obviously he's aged a lot since then. So he would not probably weigh the same or even look the same.
Mm-hmm.
But we just want to put that out there that Charles Southern is still missing.
Oh my gosh, that's so sad.
I know, it is really sad, especially because he was it seems like he was like kind of like, I'm not into this anymore. And that kind of seems to be the case with a lot of the people. Like her ex-husband was kind of the same way. He was like, I'm not into this anymore. I think I need to bail. And then lo and behold, something fucking happens, yet Terri still gets all their shit.
Yeah, well, and it was the same thing with Devereaux. Like, Devereaux didn't like Terri. You know, if Devereaux had been 18, she probably wouldn't have been there. She would have pieced out a long time ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what happened with his will or anything like that, or like the note that said he wanted to leave everything to Terri. I don't know if he's officially been pronounced dead. I don't know. So
wow.
Yeah, that's another really sad one. So that's why that one was on Unsolved Mysteries, is that he still has not been found.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, super sad, right?
Mm-hmm.
So shortly, moving on.
Okay.
Sorry, we've got a lot still. Shortly before the disappearance of Charles Southern, all the way back in Texas, Terri is up to her old shenanigans again.
Oh, fucking great. Okay.
Terry's newest husband, Don Hoffman, has died by suicide.
Oh, geez. Okay. All right. So how many husbands have died
So
under
far,
her watch?
I think it's just the 2 that have died.
Okay. But still, like that alone, or like, lady, take everybody else out of this. You have 2 spouses that have committed suicide. You are like the most unlucky person, or just a god-awful wife.
Yeah. Yep. So who was Don Hoffman? Well, rewind. Don Hoffman and his first wife, Alice, joined Conscious Development in 1974. So, like, way fucking back there. So, Don knew Terri and was in this cult almost from the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And him and his wife joined together. They, unfortunately, were grieving the loss of their young daughter.
Oh, no.
Yeah, she was a toddler, but we won't go into that.
Okay.
She had died by accidental drowning before they were involved in this cult.
Okay, that was my next question, was like, did this 2-year-old have a will?
No. Oh my God.
That was in bad taste, but I really want to know.
Yeah, no, that was completely unrelated.
Okay.
Their daughter died, and they were grieving and like looking for some sort of meaning to life and life after death and all sorts of stuff. Some sort of light at the end of the tunnel, as you could say.
Sure.
When they actually find Terri and her radical religion, teaching like not to fear death, and that their daughter had been reincarnated, and so she's fine, like all that stuff. So they take to Terri and her religion, though in 1980, so this is what, 6 years after they join Conscious Development.
Okay.
Don and Alice divorce very hastily. So, like, they decide to suddenly get divorced kind of out of nowhere after being married for 22 years.
Oh my God. I'm sure Terri was like, hey.
Well, that's exactly it. Because Terri and Don were married almost immediately.
Jeez. Oh my God.
Terri had also recently divorced her third husband at this time. His name was Ben Johnson, and he does survive the death train.
Okay.
He makes it out alive.
That's something.
Yes. So she divorces Ben Johnson. Don and Alice divorce. Alice signs a waiver saying, you and Terri can get married. You don't need to wait. So they get married right away. Yeah.
Wait.
So in a lot of divorces, there's some sort of like file that's like filled out that basically says like neither party can remarry within a year.
Seriously? I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's pretty common, I think. And I don't know if it was different in Texas, if like that's a mandatory thing. You have to wait a certain amount of time. I'm not really sure, but that was something that was noted, was that Alice was like, no, I don't feel like you need to wait to get married. Just go ahead and get married. And she signs this waiver stating that she's cool with them getting married right away.
Well, and I know, like, because there's like, I mean, divorce is a process. Like, getting legally divorced is a process. And there's, it takes this many days to file this form and that many days to file that form. But I kind of figured that, like, once the forms were filed and it was all official, like, there was no legal binding, thing between these two people. So if you wanted to get married the day after
your divorce,
the days that it takes to get this all taken care of legally, then you could. That's kind of what I assumed.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know a couple people who had that stipulation in their divorce that you had to wait a certain amount of time. Like I said, it also could just be something that has to do with where they lived. I'm not really sure, but either way, Alice is totally cool with them getting married right away, which is fucking weird.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, sure, if we're not in love anymore, you can marry whoever you want, but it's just, I don't know. It's
either super grown up and very adult.
There you go.
Or just really fucking shady.
Yes. Yeah, there we go. That's a good way to put it. Yeah. So, they get married. Dawn and Terri get married. And Alice just kind of leaves the cult, kind of goes behind the drapes a little bit and escapes from the cult and isn't
good for her.
Isn't in the thing anymore.
Yeah, she's like, here, take my husband, bye.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So they're married for about 8 years, and then things seem to get a little bit rocky after that point. One of the couples in conscious development took detailed notes. So there was this couple that were known for their journaling capabilities, and they would just write everything down. Okay, they took detailed notes of all the meetings that Terri held. They would write everything down, and they just kind of were known to write everything down all the time anyways, like in their personal lives and everything. But they were writing everything down. FYI, this couple also doesn't escape the death train.
No!
But we'll get into them later. So, they are writing all this stuff down, and one of the things that they wrote down, it said, Sunday, June 19th, Day of Justice for All. Terri comes over and takes a new pill with us.
What?
Well, remember, like, in the last week, I was talking about how they would take, like, some sort of pill, like a white pill.
Oh, yes. Okay, yeah. Sorry. I forgot about that.
That's okay. So Terri apparently brings a new pill, and they all take this new pill, whatever it is. Okay,
they don't even know what it is. It's just a new pill. Okay.
This couple just says in their journal, Terri comes over and takes a new pill with us. Don has lowered his consciousness. God infuriates David, another follower. David was another follower. Over Don's poor treatment of Terri. David asks God to bring justice to Don. Not send bad karma, just send karma that he deserves. So basically what they wrote down was like, they're all in this meeting. Terry's like, hey, I've got this new pill. It's really cool. Let's all take it. And they're like, super cool. That's great. Let's do it. They take the pill.
Okay.
Don, quote, lowers his consciousness, which to me means he maybe got verbally aggressive towards Terri.
Okay.
Some sort of aggressiveness.
Yes.
There's another dude there named David. David's like, no, God doesn't like the way you're treating Terri. Okay. So he is going to bring you bad karma. That's basically what that statement says, I believe.
Okay. Or karma that he deserves.
Yes, the karma that he deserves.
Okay. Wow.
Yes.
All right. That's deep. Okay.
The pills that they were referring to, I'll go back to this, were unknown white pills that Terri would give her followers. Oh, maybe I didn't mention this last week. I thought I did. Do you remember that?
Honestly, I was just playing along.
Oh, okay.
And being like, oh yeah, totally. Because I didn't really remember it, but it honestly could have been something where you did talk about it and I just really didn't remember it.
No, I'm not sure. But, so here's what the actual pills were. Well, not really. It doesn't say what they were, but here's a reference to what they were. The pills were like an unknown white pill. They didn't know what they were, but Terri would give them to her followers during their meditations with her. And it would cause the members to have quote unquote visions.
Oh, good grief. Okay.
I know. So we know that it was some sort of hallucinogen type drug.
Yes. Yeah. They're probably, I don't know. I'm assuming it's like LSD or acid or something, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I honestly don't know what LSD or acid looks like, so I have no clue.
Yeah, I don't know. So anyway, they were doing some sort of weird shit.
Okay.
Karma is supposed to be coming towards Dawn, right?
Okay. I feel bad for Dawn.
I know. As the year of 1988 progresses, it was reported that Dawn started to suffer from unknown ailments, such as chronic pain and shortness of breath. Could this be the karma that is said to be coming his way?
Possibly.
On September 16th, 1988, Dawn checks into a hotel and unfortunately commits suicide by overdose.
Oh no.
Yeah. Though there's more. Dawn
Of course
also, yes, of course, because there always is more with this horrendous story. Dawn also left a suicide note,
Of course.
as well as 3 videos explaining his actions. The notes explain that he had cancer and that he just didn't feel like he wanted to fight it. He also claimed in his notes that 3 doctors had confirmed his cancer.
Did they?
You'll find out.
Okay.
It was later determined that Dawn had mixed different medications to commit his suicide. So again, it was like pharmaceutical type, suicide.
Yeah.
Which is also what Terri's previous husband had done in his suicide, a mixture of pharmaceuticals.
Okay.
Yeah. It also became apparent in his autopsy that Dawn did not have cancer.
I have to admit I saw that coming.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can, this is now the second person that's believed that they had some terminal illness.
Yeah, that they didn't actually have.
And that they didn't actually have.
Well, and because, part of me wonders if, I mean, we don't really know, but what if these doctors that these people were seeing could have, A, been paid off by Terri, or B, in the cult already, and it was in their best interest, to lie to these people.
Yeah.
I'm making assumptions, but,
Yeah. Well,
or he didn't actually see a doctor.
Yeah, let me get into that.
Okay.
In response, well, not right this second. I'm going to get there in a second, but It'll come. Just wait.
Okay.
In response to the coroner's findings, the coroner was like, he didn't have cancer. So Terri consulted with a spiritual master from another realm.
You mean she made shit up?
Yes.
Sorry, and then, allegedly.
And then came back with, quote, this is an actual quote from her. What Dawn definitely had was cancer.
Oh.
He said the Black Lords were trying to create an illusion so the medical examiner wouldn't find cancer. So they would hurt all us more. This quote was actually recorded.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so she actually was recorded saying that. Basically saying that her spiritual master was like, the Dark Lords were just trying to cover up the fact that he had cancer so that it would just confuse everyone. Was basically what it was, and hurt everyone. This doesn't fucking make sense.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't at all. And it's just it's further proof that she's trying to just manipulate these people.
Yeah. Yep. And once again, Don Hoffman left all his belongings and money to Terri.
Of course. Okay. Again, saw that coming.
Yeah. But thank God, Don's children sued Terri for a wrongful death claim.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Are they the first ones to go this far with it?
Yeah, I believe so.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
They claimed that Terri hypnotized him or manipulated him in some way to commit suicide.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And they actually won that, so she didn't get any of his money.
Okay.
But what I was going to say, which I guess I didn't write it down in my notes, but what I remember reading, though don't quote me on this because I didn't write it down, so I can't say for sure, but I just feel like I remember reading that they were not able to track down the doctors that Don claimed, confirmed his cancer.
Which I feel like should be relatively easy
To do,
if
right?
these doctors, actually did what they think they should be doing, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So another one
Down.
bites the dust.
Yeah.
Another husband, unfortunately.
Yeah.
We're getting there. We have 2 more stories to get through.
Okay. Was that husband number 3 that died?
That's husband number 2 that died.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
but
Sorry.
he was her 3rd husband. No,
Okay.
he was her 4th husband.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So apparently in 1988, because that's when 3 people died now. Well, one disappeared. And then Don Hoffman and then Mary have all died in 1988.
Oh my God. Okay.
So poor
All in
Terri.
1 year.
I know. Poor Terri is just
Poor
going
Terri.
through so much loss in her life. And in such a short amount of time. Goodness gracious. Because guess what? The death toll continues.
Oh my God.
Yes.
And again, I'm still absolutely flabbergasted that no police presence has been there. There's nothing.
Yeah, especially
I'm just
with all the
amazed.
contested wills and lawsuits, you'd think someone would be like, maybe we need to look into this. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Well, as I said, we're gonna just this one's a doozy.
Okay. Oh God.
The death toll continues when Terry's old friend Jill Bounds is found beaten and bludgeoned to death in her bed on September 20th, 1988. 4 days. 4 days after Terry's husband, Don Hoffman, commits suicide.
That is, I got to admit, that is a turn.
I know.
Because this is everybody else has been suicides, right?
Yeah.
One disappearance, but everybody else has been, pretty strictly speaking, suicides.
Yes.
I mean, there's room for interpretation in there, but you know what I mean. And this is
a straight up murder, clearly.
Yeah, this is straight up homicide at this point, very clearly.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that.
Oh my God, yes. That is a turn and a half right there.
Yeah. And right after the husband dies.
Yes.
How
poor
awful
Terri.
for Terri to be going through this.
Jeez.
So let's talk about Jill Bounds. Jill Bounds was a prominent psychologist in Dallas, Texas, which is wild. How in the world does she get wrapped up with Terri? But she does. Even though she was a psychologist and helped people find meaning in their life and helped them through mental health issues, she herself struggled to find the meaning of life.
Okay.
And she also was a very, very firm believer in reincarnation. So in 1973, when she found conscious development, she was like, wow, this actually seems like a really good fit for me. I believe in reincarnation. I'm looking for meaning of life and death. What are we all doing here? That kind of thing.
Sure.
Yeah. So she joins the group, and by 1979, she was actually considered one of Terry's very, very close friends.
Okay.
However, in 1982, so 3 years after I guess it's been 9 years since she joined the group, but so 1982, Jill leaves the group after she had noticed that an awful lot of people who were close to Terri seemed to die under strange circumstances.
It's amazing to me that she's the only one that put that together.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because at this point, her last husband hasn't died yet, and these people in Chicago haven't died yet.
So this is like,
This is 1982.
yeah, this is kind of like the beginning, but still,
Yeah.
she noticed.
Yeah, she noticed something was up. So she leaves the group. She then, like, cut all ties with Terri, even badmouthed her a lot. She often expressed that Terri was a witch. Like, she was like, yep, Terry's a fucking witch. I don't like her. Don't like her. After
Okay.
she was not hiding the fact that she disliked Terri, Jill's house suddenly became under infestation of cockroaches.
Oh.
Yes. And Jill truly, truly believed that Terri had done this. Somehow, Terri had caused this cockroach infestation in Jill's home for retaliation, or as retaliation for leaving the
I mean,
cult.
I don't blame her for thinking that.
I know. After all the shit that, like, has gone down, it's like,
Yeah.
are we really that fucking surprised? No. So, let's talk about her death a little bit. So she was found bludgeoned to death in her own bed. So she was obviously asleep. Well, possibly asleep, or maybe put there. I don't know, whatever. So it seemed very odd, just like the crime scene in and of itself. It looked as if it was a staged break-in. The window that they believed maybe the intruder had come in and out of couldn't actually be opened from the outside. So they were like, this person obviously didn't come in through this window because you can't open it from outside. So how did this person get in?
Yeah.
How did they leave? Jill's security system was also on. So that was a little bit weird.
So whoever it was would have known how to disarm and rearm her security system, right?
Possibly. It did say that the only room that the security system wasn't activated in was Jill's own bedroom, because that would make sense. Like, if you get up to go to the bathroom or something, you don't want the alarm going off.
Yeah.
So if the intruder did in fact get in through that room, it would make sense that the alarm wouldn't go off. But yes, it's still very weird. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Also, Jill's expensive jewelry and electronics were untouched, and it also looked as if someone had cleaned up after themselves in the bathroom. So I'm assuming that meant there might have been, like, blood or something like that in the sink or something.
Okay.
Another strange thing was that the murderer also ripped out pages from one of her old diaries back from 1979.
Oh.
Yeah, so keep in mind that her death was 1988, and this
Yeah, they would have, like, they'd have to go digging.
Yeah, to find these pages in this one diary.
Wow.
And take the pages out. So that's fucking weird, right?
Yeah, totally.
A few days after Jill's death, Jill's mother was at her house, Jill's house, just kind of going through some things, trying to, gather together her daughter's house and, whatnot. While she was there, she found a strange symbol outside of Jill's house. She described it as an occult symbol, though I couldn't actually find what the symbol was.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
She just said... Sorry.
So remind me, 1988?
Yeah. So that literally could have been anything. People in the 80s
it's like
thought a star was an occult symbol. So
yes, yeah, we're like prime satanic panic time, so it's like it literally could have been anything. I'm not belittling, what the impact could have had, or maybe it really was. But let's be honest,
I could not verify what the actual symbol looked like. I was
hoping it could have
a picture, but there was not.
Yeah, you're right. It literally could have been anything. Okay.
Yeah. So she found some sort of cult symbol, like, carved into the ground outside of Jill's house. She also found a toy robot with its legs and with its legs pulled off and its head crushed, which is, like, just weird. May not have anything to do with anything, but it's just weird.
Do we know if Jill had kids?
No, she did not.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay. That is a little odd. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't think she had kids, but that is just weird.
Yeah.
Jill's sister had also reported that Jill's ex-boyfriend mentioned one day, really randomly, that he was the beneficiary of Jill's will.
Okay.
Like, isn't that weird? Like, I think
The
it was when
boyfriend?
we were still together, he was like, "Oh, did you?" It was funny because the sister like thought it was awkward, like the way that it came up. Like it seemed to kind of come out of nowhere. Like, "Oh, hey, did you know that if Jill dies, I'm the beneficiary?" Like that kind of thing. Like it was just kind of random and out there thing to just say.
Yeah. Well, while we're on the topic, if Jeremy and I die, our money goes to Paige, just so you guys know.
Really?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
In the event that like both Jeremy and I die.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm leaving it up to you to distribute our limited amount of money to everybody else that you see fit.
Oh my gosh. Now there's proof that if Jillian and Jeremy die suddenly, I'm probably going to be the prime suspect.
Yes. Yeah. But if I die, then it goes to Jeremy. And if he dies, then it goes to me. But if both of us die jointly, it goes to you, Paige.
Heyo. That would be horrible. That would be so horrible.
I'm trusting you to distribute, though.
Nope. I'm going to pull a Terri. It's all mine.
Ouch, Kyle. Ouch.
No, I'm kidding. Of course I
Not
will.
that we have wealth to distribute, but you know.
Right. Well, you have more than I do, I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. That's all right.
Anyway, okay. So, something that I wanted to point out about Jill's ex-boyfriend was that he was also a conscious development member.
Okay. Red flags all around.
So, here's what I assume happened. Jill and this dude were together. So she had a will benefiting him when she was part of this conscious development group with him, right?
Okay.
She leaves the group. They break up. She actually changes her will and leaves everything to her family.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah. So praise the Lord. Terri doesn't get it.
I know, but I'm wondering if he was just like telling the sister that
to like bait her.
Well, no, not really. Just it was more like, hey, you know, just so you know, she's leaving everything to me, planting a seed for like, you know, of doubt for if she ever did die or when she dies, I suppose. If it goes to literally anybody else but him, there's doubt there.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Do you know what I mean?
Like in on it, like in on the fact that he like wanted to like let everyone know that like Terri's up to shit.
Well, no, I was thinking more along the lines of like, hey, it's going to me, and then, you know, don't say anything, but I'm going to give it to Terri because I'm in a cult, and that's what happens in cults. You share everything.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, that was more what I was thinking, but it was more of like a, you know, hey, sister to Jill, if she dies, you know, she's giving all of her money to me. So if you find another will, it's not a real will. You know what I mean?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
but it's
Well,
like a verbal conversation. What?
It was a real will, the new one.
Yeah, and it's like a verbal conversation is never going to trump a written one.
Right.
You know, so it's like she has a written down will, so it's like the fact that he even tried, if that's what he was doing, is dumb.
Yeah.
It wasn't going to work.
Yeah, and thank God it did not.
No.
Goodness.
Sorry, that was just my brain being curious, but
yeah, no, that's
about
okay.
it.
Unfortunately, Jill's murder is still unsolved.
That's so sad.
Yeah, though her family believes it's pretty clear what happened.
Yeah.
She thinks that Terri and the conscious development people are responsible. Whether Terri hired someone or what, we don't know. We don't even know if Terri had anything to do with this, but that is something that is very strongly believed.
Okay. Yeah.
Side note, if anything like that ever happened to one of you girls, believe me, I would find every way I could to ruin them.
Yeah, it was funny
I
because I was
believe it.
writing this and I was like, wow. I can only imagine what Kyle and Dad would do if something like
I know, Dad.
Oh,
I
yeah.
feel like
we'd
Dad
fuck
and
them up.
yeah, I think you
Fuck
guys
'em
would.
up.
Yeah, you'd go full Rambo.
Yeah.
Like if it was ever a Taken situation,
Oh my
I
God.
wouldn't have to
yeah.
imagine. I've seen the movie, and that's what would happen.
Yeah. Gosh. Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, we
Yeah.
do appreciate it.
Avenge our death, Kyle. Terry's
Avenge
not gonna
us.
win.
I will.
Terry can't win.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
All right, so moving on. Obviously, hopefully, you remember Dawn Hoffman, her last husband that died, right?
Mm-hmm,
Thought he had cancer, left a video saying he had cancer,
Yep.
that whole thing.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Well, I had mentioned this couple that took very detailed notes about Terry's doings and their own doings, and I also mentioned that they were not going to make it out, right?
Yeah.
Well, here we are.
Okay.
This couple were the Goodmans. It was David and Glenda Goodman. David and Glenda Goodman.
Mm-hmm.
David Goodman found Terry in conscious development shortly before his first marriage had failed. So he was married when he joined this quote-unquote cult. And their marriage was kind of failing, and he was looking for guidance in his life when he joins the group. He became very close with Terry, and Terry even persuaded him to marry a different woman who was very young compared to David. So after he and his first wife divorce, Terry's like, hey, I've got this other woman that you would just be the perfect match for. I think, if I recall, she was like 20. I think.
Oh.
So she was
Okay.
of legal age, consenting
Yes.
age, but if I do believe he was quite a bit older than her.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, it happens, but
yeah.
it is unusual.
Yeah. That marriage didn't work out. So Terry gives him another woman who is also like 20, and that marriage didn't work out either.
I mean, I can only imagine the age gap didn't help this situation.
Yes. Yo, sir, you need some stamina to keep up with those 20-year-olds.
Yeah. Well, it's like, you never know. Like, maybe she wanted kids because she's fucking 20 years old and is like ready for kids. And then there's this guy who's like been there, done that. I don't know if he's had kids, but I'm assuming been there, done that.
I can't remember if they have kids or not. I think they do. I believe they do.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So those didn't work out. But in 1984, Terry's like, here, meet Glenda. You two were married in a past life. So you're soulmates. Here you go.
Okay.
And success. The marriage lasted.
Okay.
And it's actually kind of sweet because they were like apparently like just madly in love, and they were really adorable.
That is kind of darling. I mean, like if somebody told me that Jeremy and I were soulmates in a past life, I'd be like, don't really believe you, but that's totally romantic and I'm into it.
Yeah. Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Yeah.
However, though their marriage was successful by the late 80s, so keep in mind they meet in 1984, before the 80s are even over, both Glenda and David find themselves very depressed, and they isolate themselves from their families. Glenda sent her children away, and I believe her children were like young teens.
Oh.
And she was like, yo, you're cramping my spiritual style, so I'm going to need you to leave.
Damn.
So they go and live with their dad.
I mean, let's be honest, it's probably for the best. Like,
I know.
because it's just like knowing what Terry does
Yes.
You know, it's like, and what happened to poor Devereaux, like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
allegedly.
Allegedly. Here we go. Yeah, they claimed that the children were a distraction from their spiritual, like,
Journey.
journey. Yes, there you go. Journey.
Okay.
Yeah, so they were like, bye-bye. And then after that, they broke off almost all contact with their family members.
Oh,
Everyone.
no.
Siblings, everyone. Yeah.
It's a sign.
Yeah. As I mentioned before, the Goodmans kept really elaborate journals. It's almost 1 a.m. here.
Yeah, it's late. This one's a doozy.
Yes. Goodness. They kept very elaborate journals of their sessions with Terri. And some of their entries had even mentioned that their visions, so they would have visions. Remember, they would take these pills with Terri and they'd have visions. But their visions told them to give Terri expensive gifts. Yes.
Oh my God.
Some things that they gave Terri, and these gifts were confirmed by their check registers. One of them was a 1988 Lincoln Continental car. A car. They bought her a car. They also
oh
bought
my gosh.
her...
Why don't my friends buy me cars?
I know, right? Well, just wait. They also bought her a house.
Oh my God.
Yeah. They fucking bought her a house. And over the years, gave her money amounting to around $110,000.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Right?
Oh my God. Well, and in the 80s, that's a lot of money.
So
it's a lot of money now, but
if you want your friends to give you these really psychotic, high monetary ranging gifts, just become a cult leader and you'll be set.
Well, it's like the same thing with the Rajneeshi cult in Oregon. It was like the guy had multiple Rolls Royces.
Right. And it's like, oh my God. It's just,
I don't know what plural for Rolls Royce is, but you know what I mean.
Oh, that's a good question.
Rolls Roy, maybe?
Yeah, Rolls Royce.
Oh
Rolls
my
Royce.
God.
Yeah, there you go.
Roy's Reese? No. Okay, I just sounded like an idiot.
Too far.
Reels Reese's.
Yeah, sure. Oh my gosh. You guys know what I mean.
Oh goodness. Okay. David and Glenda also believed that they were having visions where they heard the voice of God saying that they were actually the Roman gods Venus and Jupiter. So they believed that they were Roman gods.
Wowza. Okay.
Not as wild as the deconstructed human, but
yes, but still, that is
out there.
That is, that's a thing. It's out there a little bit. Okay.
Yeah. Over time, Glenda continued to become extremely depressed, like even more so than she was before. Though she blamed her depression on basically anyone who came in contact with her. She said that if there was anyone who was near her, she accused them of stealing her energy and replacing it with bad energy.
Oh my gosh, okay.
She even wrote in her journal that she wished that she was brave enough to commit suicide.
Oh, that's sad.
That's how bad her depression was. Super sad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Which leads
you guys, mental health is no joke, okay?
I know. Fuck depression. Gosh. All right. In January 1990, David and Glenda were found shot to death in their home. They had been... Sorry. My little one is coughing. We had to go get her COVID tested today because she woke up this morning with a really bad cough. So, yes. Happy
Poor
thoughts
babe.
for my little one, all right?
Yes. Happy thoughts. Sending good vibes.
Prayers, however you want to say it, whatever. Yeah. Anyway. So yes, David and Glenda were found shot to death in their home. They had been in their home dead for about a month before being found.
Oh my God.
I know. That's how
So
isolated they were. Like, no one even realized they weren't around.
that's such a bummer.
I know. It's really super sad. Ugh.
So do you know if they shot themselves?
Well, I'm getting there.
Okay. Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. There's just a lot of things to like unravel one piece at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Their deaths were ultimately ruled as a double suicide. So, yeah.
Oh.
David's family believes it was a double David's family does agree that it was a double suicide, though David's dad was quoted saying, quote, here we go, quote, maybe it was a double suicide, but one word from Terri would have stopped it. One word of Terri would have set it off.
He's well, in my opinion, he's absolutely right.
Yep.
Yeah. I think you're right. She probably could have stopped it. Oh my gosh.
It was going to happen too, which is,
Wow.
So they too filed a wrongful death suit against Terri.
Oh, thank God. Yeah. Something.
After the Goodmans' death, the Dallas County District Attorney launched.
Finally!
I know. They were like, something is fucking up with this woman. We've had what's the death toll now? I don't even know.
Okay, let's see. So there was husband number 1 with the pills, right? There was Devereaux,
Sandy,
and Louise. And then after that, oh gosh,
Robin, Ostott,
yes,
Mary, Charles, Don Hoffman, Jill,
yes, and the Goodmans. So that's 11.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
So after 11
deaths,
the district attorney is finally like, something seems a little bit weird with Terri Hoffman.
Oh my God.
I know, right?
I can't believe it took that long.
I know, yeah. I will say that, so 2 of the disappearances happened in Chicago. Well, 1 death in Chicago, 1 disappearance in Chicago. Sandy and Louise were in Colorado.
Uh-huh.
So that's 4 that were in different states. So
yeah, that's true. It's kind of spread out
around that, but yeah, they were finally like, this seems a little bit off. We should maybe look into her. So they do launch a hefty investigation into Terri Hoffman and her activities, specifically focusing on the deaths and disappearances of her former followers and husbands.
Damn.
Yeah, finally, after all this fucking time, it's happened.
Yeah, seriously.
So, despite all this investigating and all the things that they're doing now, no concrete evidence against Terri directly being involved in any of these incidences could be established.
You've got to be fucking kidding me.
Jeez. They're just like, oh, well, I mean, we can't really prove that you did any of these things. We can't prove that you hypnotized these people. Yeah. So.
Wow.
But prosecutor Cecil Emerson did admit that, so this is the crazy part. So he's a prosecutor. He's intelligent, educated, not sucked into this cult, right? But he does admit that she had some strange power over people. He did believe that she could, in fact, hypnotize her followers, but obviously that's not something that you can
prove.
Yeah, prove. So it was kind of left at that. But he was, quoted saying that he believed that she can do some strange fucking shit and manipulate these people into doing stuff.
I mean, that doesn't surprise me. I mean, it's that's a number one characteristic of a cult leader is they are master manipulators, you know, like whether or not she can hypnotize somebody, that's different, but you know, take that out, she's at bare minimum, she's a master manipulator.
Yes, exactly. He believes, so Cecil Emerson believes that the people who found her, who found Terri, they were in vulnerable places in their life, and they seemed easy targets for her manipulation, so she latched onto them. Some of the families did win civil suits against Terri, claiming that they suffered untimely deaths claiming that their family members suffered untimely deaths while under her influence. And that she used hypnosis to cause them to commit suicide.
Oh my God, that's so sad.
Yeah. In October 1991, Terri filed for bankruptcy.
You mean all of the money that she was given from these wills wasn't enough to sustain her?
All these
and houses and cars?
Yeah, wasn't enough, and she filed bankruptcy. Here's the thing, though. Well, let me finish this statement. Which, when you file bankruptcy, basically, like, any civil suit that you, or any lawsuit that you had against you, kind of goes by the wayside because, like, you don't have any money to pay these people, so never mind. I guess it's just forgiven at that point. So that's kind of what happened. She filed bankruptcy, and all the civil suits completely halted, and the families never really got their justice or any of the inheritance that their family members were, you know, leaving.
That is such a bummer.
Yeah. And my thing is she probably had all that money in fucking cash.
Yeah.
But since there was no like paper trail for it, she was able to bankruptcy.
Yeah. Well, and there are ways. All
speculation. That's just me assuming things. I have no proof of that, but that's just what I think.
Yeah. Well, like there are ways, you know, like if she had a husband at the time of that, you know, you put the house in the husband's name, you put the car in the husband's name, you put the, you know, all that stuff. And it's kind of a separate bucket. I mean, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't really know that, but my general understanding of how that works, that's, you know, you could get around it.
Right. Totally. So even though she filed for bankruptcy, she was actually indicted for fraud.
Okay. Something.
Yeah. On grounds that she had hid contracts and assets. So I'm assuming that's kind of what I was saying. Like she hid things to file bankruptcy. Again, I don't know if that's what actually happened, but that's what they did indict her on.
Okay.
Though her conviction was overturned. She was convicted, but it was overturned on the grounds of insufficient evidence. So Terri was let go and was a free woman until her death on October 31st, 2015.
Did she die of natural causes, or did she commit suicide?
Natural causes.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, on Halloween.
Yeah.
She
makes me want to bring out my inner Dexter.
Right?
Just a little bit. I mean, she's definitely like, she's definitely not great. You know, like, again, this is all alleged, but you know, even if she, you know, let's just say she didn't hypnotize these people. She didn't, you know, do any of it. You know, why was she the beneficiary to 11 people's wills?
That had no reason.
Yeah. You know, like in a lifetime, your average person is maybe the beneficiary of, you know, I don't know, maybe like 4 wills if you're an only child and your parents have separate wills. You know, I mean, like, think about it. Like, it's like if, you know, a dad has a will that goes to a son, or you know, an only child. Mom has a will, goes to an only child. That child gets married. That's another one. A grandparent has a will that could go to that child. So, but it's like, so it's like 4 seems like a
But
lot.
those are all family members. None of these people
Yeah.
are actually family members. That's the wild part about it. Let me just finish my last little point here. There are still followers of the conscious development group, though it is very small. And the followers of the group still believe in Terri's innocence to this day.
Okay, well, don't come after us if you're listening to this.
Yep. Yep.
Wow.
And that is the super insanely long but incredibly fascinating story of Terri Hoffman and her quote unquote cult, the conscious development of body, mind, and soul.
That was fucking crazy.
I know. What a wild, wild ride, right?
I know. Like there were some pretty funny parts in there.
Fucking crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I couldn't even believe it. I was researching and I was like, there's no way this is fucking real. But
alas.
Yes, it is.
Oh my God. Wow. Okay. Well, thank you everybody for sticking in with us. This is probably going to be a pretty long episode, and it's a part 2 of, 2 episodes.
The combined episodes is going to be insane. Sorry.
Yeah.
But you deserved, here's the thing. The victims deserve something.
You're right.
Got nothing from this, and neither did any of their families. So they at least deserve to have their story told. And it's super sad.
Yeah, I agree.
They deserve these 5 hours of time that we talked about them.
Yes, I agree. Wow, well done.
Thank
you.
Well,
I fucking hated that and enjoyed it all at the same time. So weird. All right, let's see here. Well, I guess let's go ahead. We have to talk about a theme for next week. So every week here at Tales with Twins, we give each other a theme. This one was a little bit different because it was a 2-parter. But what led to this 2-parter was I gave Paige the theme of a cult. And this was just a really epic story. So it ended up being 2 episodes. So this week, Paige is going to give me a theme for next week's episode. And then you'll hear me give you a story.
Yes. And your theme for next week is a wrongful conviction.
Oh my God.
Wrongful convictions can be so satisfying or they can be so tragic.
Yes. And I don't know if I've told you this before, but they're
never satisfying because people died, but you know what I mean.
Yes. Yeah. It's always sad because, they're usually, a horrendous crime has been committed and, most likely somebody's probably dead because of it, but not always. But it's just like wrongful convictions are in the same bucket as conspiracy theories for me. They make me so uncomfortable that I would rather just kind of pretend like they're not there, which is not, especially when it comes to wrongful convictions, that is not a good mindset to be in because it 100% happens all the fucking time. And we need to know that it happens. So this is a good challenge for me while I hate it and it makes me uncomfortable. It's so important. So I'm glad to try to do that for you. All right. So tune in next week, I suppose, and you will hear me tell you a crazy story about a wrongful conviction and stress everybody out. But that's what we're here for. We need to talk about these things.
Yep.
All right. And follow us on social media. Let's see.
Patreon, 5-star, everybody.
Yep. Rate, review, subscribe, please, 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 please. That would be wonderful. And this is a long episode, so I think we're just ready to go.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Adios. And thank you again for joining Tales with Twins.